all know that we are here to have a section under TekQ by knowledge sharing session series on business analytics and government data governance policies. And before we formally begin with the session and discussion, let me introduce for TekQ Forum, Mr. Parveen Kumar Sharma, the Vice President of TekQ Global CIO Forum. Then Mr. Mohan Nagar, who is resource person for today's session, as well as Vice President of TekQ. Then Mr. Mohan Kumar, who is National Head for TekQ Global CIO Forum, and resource person for government data governance policies. Then Mr. Shahswat, he is again Joint Counsel of TekQ Global CIO Forum. From I.T.S, we have the person who has been a guiding force for all of us, who is very young, very focused, very precise, and knows what is what and what is to be done. And for last 21 years, when we started this I.T.S in '95, with this campus, this building where we are sitting today, now the campus has grown into 4 different campuses, from 1 course to 20 courses, which comprise of undergraduate programs, PG programs, and doctoral programs. We have one of the best dental colleges in the country, with multi-specialty hospitals. The Surya Hospital belongs to I.T.S Group. And lots of initiatives which we can expect from academic institutions. When we are doing here, beyond that, under his guidance, Shri Arpit Chadha, who is Vice Chairman. Then we have Dr. Ajay Kumar. He has been guiding us in our endeavor. He is Director Management at I.T.S Mohan Nagar. And then, of course, you all were leading the industry in your own domain, in your vertical. And before we formally begin with the session, I would request from Rajeev to have a brief introduction so that we know each other.
Yes, I'm Rajesh Vasav from Alankit Limited, heading the IT infrastructure there. And I think Alankit के बारे में शायद बहुत कम लोग जानते होंगे.
नहीं सर, सब जानते हैं. आपके जगह में सब भेजते हैं.
So, short brief introduction देता हूँ Alankit का. We are long from e-governance sector purely. Here, Alankit was known for financial sector services. Last 10 to 7 years के बीच में हम लोगों ने इसको move on कर दिया e-governance sector में. तो Alankit का जो total focus रहता है government services पे, like GSTN, PAN processing, e-KYC, data processing, only for the government projects.
Earlier you were known for the share, no? The issue processing kind of work.
We are working for the restaurant transfer agent for the share management process. हमारा जो business का जो एक focus company जो है वो RV and SMC, like similar kind of business सभी लोगों का है. So totally we are focusing on e-governance sector.
I'm departing from business oriented and working in
Beside this, I will Sunil bhai थोड़ा भूल गए थे. Mr. Sunil is also our executive council member at national level.
My name is Sunil Kr Pandey from the caretaker of the RL group and the Pan India and the approximately solar energy, solar LED lights and lanterns and other things, and take care of the Nicopatis as well as our group.
Welcome, Sunil.
I'm Jitendra Sharma. I'm IT head in Pune, Clockwise Communications, who are into mobile manufacturing and distribution. This company has established 1 year back, and we have sold almost 17 lakh devices all over India. And
welcome, sir. Pleasure to have on board.
Hi, I'm Manoj Mittal. I'm heading the telecom, media and entertainment vertical in Sopra Steria, basically European MNC. And so I'm heading the offshore delivery for all the telecom, media and entertainment.
Welcome, sir. Sopra has been very close to us.
Sopra is very close to us. We have been very closely working with Yes.
And around 20 odd alumni are working with SOPA in different. Thank you. Please on board. Yes.
I am Vipul Agarwal. I am from McMillan Publishers India Limited. It's 125 years old company in India, and recently we merged with Springer Nature Group from Germany. So we are number 2 in worldwide in publishing. And Springer Group as a whole has more than 120 countries presence.
Fantastic, sir. Welcome, welcome. Nice to have you on.
And I am heading IT Infra in McMillan India.
Fantastic, sir. Sir, please.
Yeah, hi, myself Mukesh. I am heading IT for J Group India. This is a Canadian MNC having operations in 65 countries. And we are basically third largest into world into the human capital management, just like Idaho and Manpower. So I am heading IT for India operations.
Welcome, sir.
Nancy Memorial, I'm heading IT Abide Homes Private Limited under Praveen.
See, I'm an ex-vice president of Byte Group. Because of the affection of the CEO over there, वो मतलब छोड़ते नहीं हैं। सर आप ICI में चले गए लेकिन आपको नहीं छोड़ेंगे। You have to come महीने में जब आपको हो आप आ जाइए। 2 से 3 विजिट मेरी हो जाती है। And she is a very hard working girl और बड़े अच्छे से संभाल रही हैं।
Good morning, everybody. My name is Pavan Kumar. I am basically from the hospitality background. You must have heard about the IHG, the Intercontinental Hotels Group. So I am the IT head for them. So I am heading the Crown Plaza and Holiday Inn Mayur Hotel. So I do have rich experience of hospitality under the IT for 15 years. So you know the IHG is having 8,000 globally hotels with them. So
Fantastic, sir. Welcome.
My name is Nikhil.
Hi, Nikhil.
I have started my career with the group of hotels. Spent about 11-10 years over there. Then I had about 13 years with Pacific. Now I have been associated with I.T.S The and doing a small project for rural health mission. And that has been a prestigious point. So,
welcome.
Sir, my name is Santosh. I'm a Christian artist.
He's part of my team. Part of my team. On my special request, he has come.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Sorry, good morning, everybody. My name is Lakshman, and I am part of the Excel service. I am working as a manager there and managing services for ERP applications, I.T.S and Oracle and all that. Previously, I was with Answer Property with Parveen sir. There I have worked for 9 years and was managing from internal everything.
Thank you, Lakshman.
Hi, I'm Dushyant. I'm working with the home shop. I am really feeling very proud to be a part of this forum.
He is our coordinator for the TekQ Forum. He look after the admin part.
So he is an ex-IT
My name is Chris Kashyap. I am a software developer with 4 years of experience from Amazon.
And then there is student volunteers.
नाम बता दीजिए
अपना नाम इंट्रोड्यूस कीजिए बेटा.
Myself Kr Pandey and I am the MC student of second year.
Welcome.
I am Lokesh Mukherjee from part of MCA third year.
Welcome.
I am Tanya from MCA.
Welcome, Tanya.
I am Pooja Singh of MCA second year.
Welcome, Pooja. And then we have Professor Shri faculty. She is senior faculty in IT department. For more than 10 years, she has been associated with us. She is coordinator of MCA. Professor Pooja, she is chairperson of MCA. It's a great pleasure to be with these guys today. You are last 15 years. Round of applause for them. They are the main people behind this today's session. And then we have Mr. Saurabh Thomas, who is part of our technical team in IT. Bodhitesh ji, introduce to करते हैं.
My name is Bodhitesh Mishra and I started my career with Ministry of Railways. I have around 45 years of experience. I had developed the AC 3-tier design and the Indian Railway reservation system.
Excellent, sir. It's an honor to be. I'm sitting with you. Just like
Professor, and we're all part of the same community. And currently, I'm joining an organization as Chief Operating Officer in Bangalore.
Okay. Hi, myself Mohan Kumar. I'm heading Global Software Group and National Canada for TekQ CIO Forum. So we are basically into cybersecurity consulting business from the past 8-9 years. So we have a global business and we have a small team across the country available. So we do free training seminars across the country to many organizations. Preferably be available because every month there is a new regulations, new guidelines are there for them. So this is actually what we do. Thank you.
Now before we formally begin with the event, I would request Professor Pooja Chaitrath to welcome Shri Parveen Kumar Sharma on behalf of the institute. Thank you.
सर हाथ लगाइए, आप वाइस प्रेसिडेंट हैं, हाथ लगाइए, TekQ का स्वागत हो रहा है, परवीन शर्मा का नहीं हो रहा है।
I will request Dr. Arindam Singha Roy to welcome both AC to the resource person of AC.
आपके साथ भी मैं लगाऊंगा।
Thank you, sir. So, whenever any event is here at campus, we as institute treat ourselves as hosts, and thus a formal welcome or formal any kind of thing is not acceptable to our vice chairman. But since Parveen sir has requested that he wants to,
it will be my honor.
So now I would request Parveen Sharma, President of TekQ Global CIO Forum, to welcome. Now, I request Shri Parveen Sharma to brief about the objectives of TekQ Global CIO Forum and comments about this event.
Thank you, Sunil Bhai. As you are aware that this event is conducted by TekQ Global CIO Forum. We have got around 2,000 plus worldwide CIO enrolled with us. And the common objective of this organization or this forum is to act as a catalyst to enable community empowerment. When I say community, it's not only IT, all IT related community, through various means and activities including knowledge sharing, platform like seminars, conferences, discussion forum, training awareness, campaigns about digitization and its benefits, how to keep the secure, because security is the main aspect. You can see the various threats which are happening day by day. Hacking and phone banking problems. These kind of things are happening. So IT security has all of a sudden come on a forefront. All of a sudden the value of the CSO has increased many folds. So security is the main concern. That's why we have kept security as one of the topic of today's discussion. So these kind of seminars and events we normally doing in places like colleges. We are also doing mega events like we facilitate the top CIOs for their contribution to the community by awarding them events, which is normally sponsored by OEMs like HP, Dell, Lenovo, these kind of people. And we are strongly believe in the women empowerment. In our governing body also, in every chapter we have got at least one female member because that is our prime motto, to empower the women in the field of information technology. Citizen improving efficiency, productivity and capacity building to organization to create a competent pool that help to fulfill the requirements of resources that country needs. You would appreciate in today's world, many people comes out of BTech, BCA or MCA, but when we go for the interview and people like us take their interview, we found that they are pure theoretical. They lack the practical knowledge very badly. And that's why people like Alankit and other organizations says they are getting 80% marks in BTech or BCA or MCA, but they are not productive for them. So the objective of such kind of workshop and training is that to give them a real picture of what is going on in the industry, and if possible to give them a work hands-on experience. That is our prime object. This is a non-profit organization, just to share with you, registered under Section 8. We do not have any commercial interest The only thing is that with the experience of 25-year plus or 30-year plus, we people want to give something back to the community. That is our prime objective. Nothing, sir. And thank you very much for your
I would request our Honorable Vice Chairman, Shri Arpit Chadha sir, to formally welcome you all and say a few words on this.
Thank you. Respected Shri Parveen Kumar ji, other esteemed dignitaries here. Very good morning and a warm welcome at I.T.S. I'll take this quick 5-7 minutes to introduce I.T.S Education Group to you all. We started our journey in 1995 with 60 students. By the grace of God and good quality of education being provided, we are in 2019, the group is around 9,000 students strong. The group also comprises of 700-800 full-time people working with us. I am one of those 700 people. We consider each one working here as part of our Parivar. We call it I.T.S Parivar. I am one of the 700-800 people here. I'm not just the vice chairman, but I am a part of a family member of we've always believed giving the best of education to our students. The group, I.T.S The Education Group, truly believes once a student is admitted at our institute, it is our job and it is our primary responsibility to ensure whatever the duration of a course, be it a UG 3-year, 4-year, or PG 2-year, or a 3-year program, we must ensure student passes out with flying colors. To ensure that, we've got a lot of activities. This is a boardroom where we are sitting. We also have a video conferencing facility here. So there are regular video conference lectures which are taken by people from across the globe. This helps students learn about cross culture. We've got international tours. We've got international collaborations with top universities. There is a foreign tour as well which goes for a student exchange program also happens. Then there are programs like CEO Meet, wherein we try and invite top CEOs like you people to come to our institute, share live practical knowledge with our students. Theoretical is one thing, but we all understand that time has changed and practical knowledge is very important. Henceforth, we have a CEO Meet every year. We've got a business summit. We do marketing awards here. So there are a lot of programs which take place at I.T.S. The sole purpose, as I said so, is giving students the exposure to meet the best people in the country and learn. I would request you all also, we are open to suggestions and guidance from you all. Dr. Sunil will be in touch with you. Sure. And we'll be troubling you if I may say so.
Yes, sir.
So, we are honored. Yeah, so it would be great if you all could also come along in your own way and guide our students and take them even further ahead. Once again, I would like to welcome you all and thank you very much.
Thank you. I would rather propose that let's shake hand as a TekQ and as a I.T.S. Let's have a MOU kind of thing, and we help each other.
Sure. Great. Much better. Yes. And thank you so much, for this proposal. Today, sir had a meeting in Delhi somewhere, but we requested because we wanted that he should be part of this event. He has to leave.
We are really
on behalf of TekQ Forum, the TekQ team wants to felicitate our Vice Chairman.
Yes.
I request Shri Parveen Sharma.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now, being the industry, I don't think any of us need any kind of introduction for the topic, for the field which we have identified for today's discussion. Business analytics and government data protection policies. Because in some or other way, being an IT professional, though we are primarily responsible for IT infrastructure, it doesn't take our job to ensure the compliance with the government policies and everything, number one. And second, we all know with the growing that we have reached in an era where we started our data, storing data in data files. Now we have reached into big data. where the type of data, amount of data, variety of data, volume of data, everything is changing in such a fast pace that many of those who started their career in early 90s, those who were used to work on Oracle database, to store data, to manage, to process it, and to maintain everything. We all used to have that structured kind of thing where data used to be stored there and then processed and present to somebody who actually needed it in a specific format. But with the advent of social media platforms, where the population is going like anything, anyone, if he is not present in social media, it is very hard to believe. And the kind of amount, the kind of volume of data is increasing on that social media, that postings on social media platforms are also becoming very important for analysis purposes. So that types of data which you used to store has changed from structured, not only structured, semi-structured, unstructured also. These kind of varying types of data which we have to store, we have to process and then subsequently use it to produce certain strong subjective to predictive kind of information. It requires an insight of it. Each of us who are sitting here in some or other way is involved into it. So we thought, why not to discuss on this? Because everyone is from IT industry. The pain points are almost similar for each of us. So if the people from with similar mindsets, similar kind of exposure can sit together and discuss these, we probably will come up with certain solutions which we can think of taking a project. So that was basic objective. And so one thing that identifying data is storing it, using it for the purpose, and then at the same time the data is being accessed globally. Data is kept here in Delhi, people are accessing from other places as well. So the global access of data. I come. So I come back.
I would like to introduce Pooja Chaitrath, head of our Women Central Governing Committee. Kindly welcome her.
She is the Vice President IT at Private.
Right.
And she is coming from the north.
Yes. That's why it was so late.
Marathon drive.
So on that context, where the data has to be accessed, has to be used by people sitting at different geographical locations, then the balance of data becomes very important. So the compliance and usage both are equally important. So with that pretext, we thought as a team that we should create a forum where we can discuss on these issues. And we have Shri Arpit Chadha, vast experience as each of us know. We don't need any kind of any of us, we know each other. So Arpit Chadha, he has been a speaker on different forums at IIMs, IITs and other places and IITs. He has been an integral part of AKTU because he is a member of Academic Council of AKTU also. So he has been credited for all initiatives. Like digital evaluation, AKTU is one of the first universities where they started. So yeah. And then we have Om Kumar, who would be covering the second part of it, government data protection and government's policy. So with this,
thank you so much. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Okay, so I'll be more interactive, right? In case you have any queries, you can immediately have a discussion on that. So I've already implemented lots of business analytics case studies, so we can have lots of discussions around it. So I was also awarded the Eminent CIOs of India Award and the Change Agent 2200 this year as well as the last year. Agenda, we have already discussed that. I'll be talking about a bit of IoT, big data and analytics and why data science is now. Okay. Why are we all discussing about it and some of the case studies. We'll start with this Gartner's hype cycle. Most of you have already seen Gartner's hype cycles. In case not, then I'll make you aware what this hype cycle is all about. So Gartner every year comes out with hype cycle. This is for the emerging technologies of this year. So if you see data sciences, IoT, big data, they're all in the leading hype cycle. And some of the technologies have already begun to fade away from hype cycle. Some of the technologies will already have gone out of this Gartner's hype cycle. So like augmented reality, mixed reality, they are all, nobody is not talking about it. So it has gone down the hype cycle. So I will, from the CIO community, I will request everybody to every year look at these newer technologies that come up with. So Gartner does a lot of research on newer technologies worldwide, and they come out with this hype cycle. So from your perspective, it is better to understand what some of these technologies would be, like AI platform as a service. Now, what is AI platform as a service? Now people are talking about it. So I will be covering most of these technologies in this session. Smart DUS, again, is a very new technology that everybody is talking about. Anybody heard of it? Smart DUS. These are very tiny, maybe 1 millimeter kind of IoT devices. They can be spread as an dust only. And a lot of information can be captured as a spy content. Right? So there are bombs being created. They spread in an area from 10 kilometers above. And when they spread in an area of 15-20 kilometers, you are able to identify the contours of that area based on their altitude, latitude, longitudes. And there are sensors which capture that. And there are sensors which capture that data. And based on that, you can plot the complete contour of an area. So from an enemy perspective, you just drop a bomb, it spreads across, nobody identifies that. These are all small 1 mm IoT. Can you think of that? It has controller, it has sensors, it has battery, and it has solar panel cell. Think about it. 1 mm, everything is all embedded as part of this. So new technology is coming in. You should learn IoT or these smaller smart dust as well. And there are specifics to different verticals. So Gartner also comes out with specific hype cycle for data sciences, hype cycle for business analytics, IoT. So as a technology leaders, I would suggest that every year please review these hype cycles. So we have been talking about data sciences, big data. So why so? There has been an enormous data growth we have already seen, and people do not know why they are capturing data. They're just collecting data. And what to do with that data, they are not aware of. So the sole mantra is that keep collecting data for the purpose whatever they have envisaged or do not know what the purpose would be. But subsequently, people with lot of data would become the king. That's for granted. So whosoever is collecting data will become king because they will be able to capture a lot of insight from that data. And that insight will come from these tools of data sciences and business analytics. Cybersecurity, e-commerce, traffic patterns. Google anyway has been using traffic patterns from your data itself. So your device becomes an IoT for them. They are capturing lots of sensors data, latitude, longitude, speed, whatever. And then based on that, it is able to create a complete traffic pattern. Red, greens, yellows, we have been using it, right? So it's all IoT from your device, since all that data being sent to Google Cloud, and then creating a complete data sciences and analytics to create a traffic pattern. Network sensors, computational simulations, so a lot of scientific data is being used now. We have been talking about big data anyway, right? So 3 V's are very popular and everybody is aware of it. First being the volume, the kind of volume with the data is increasing. It cannot be stored in a relational database now. So it's spread across. Right? So terabytes of data. I remember one case study wherein one product, a database product, these are all structured databases, right? And they are just 10% of the total data spread across an organization. What is 90% other than that? Unstructured. Unstructured data, which is your PDF files, your Word documents, your Excels, in everybody's laptops and desktops, right? So that is 90% of the data. 10% is only structured data. A lot of research was done how to capture that additional 90% so that you have the complete visibility of the databases. So, Some of these products were developed into a hybrid databases. What are these hybrid databases? Primarily a crawler program would run into the complete network, capture all the meta tags of these files and put it in the database itself. All those meta tags, the file name, everything, all the details are now part of the database. Now you can do complete SQL queries on that XML data. So now you have visibility and access to 100% of your data. So that's the concept. People are working on lots of innovations in this field. So big data, we have been using it. So velocity is the kind of the volume and velocity, and the variety is all unstructured data. Dr. Pandey was talking about how unstructured data is also now. You have to analyze a lot of information from this unstructured data. So we know that there will be commercial use and commercial aspect of the big data, which is like Yahoo has been calculating, all these Yahoos and Facebooks and everybody's collecting petabytes of data per second kind of volume. The main purpose why data has become so important is because computers have become cheaper and more powerful, and you can store millions and terabytes and petabytes of data into their own systems. Even the competitive pressure is strong now, and people have started analyzing a lot of CRMs and different softwares to analyze their customer patterns. There is scientific view as well. So a lot of people are using it for identifying cancer and other diseases used on data sciences on a predictive model. They make the system learn from. I know a company which is working on scanning the images of different viruses or these kind of viruses, and then they are able to predict a new image when it is loaded into the system. It can predict which cells are malign and non-malign. So that kind of a configuration or clustering it can do and identify. So a doctor can spend his own effort into more analysis. This tool will guide him the malign and non-malign cells as well. So those kind of work is being done. In fact, data can be used in resolving some of the major society problems like improving the healthcare, reducing the cost of services, predicting the impact of climate change. So the complete world's GIS data can be imported into our data, and the delayed data can be imported, and then any difference can be identified. So you know where a deforestation has happened using data sciences. Then green energy resource, finding alternate green energy resources, reducing hunger and poverty by increasing the agricultural productivity. I am also part of the steering committee which is working on the farmers doubling of income. So I'll be working on multivariate analysis project for MSP, minimum support price for various crops. As of now, government does lots of statistical analysis to come out with one MSP per year. That is a limitation as of now. Okay. So releasing MSP for 30-40 crops is a tedious job. There is a complete big team which is working on the MSP of these crops. But using data sciences, we would be working on various parameters like humidity of an area, soil, the cloud patterns, rainfall, and so there would be more than 20-25 parameters based on which we would be working on creating a minimum support price. So initially we would be releasing every quarter or something for all those 20-25 crops, and then subsequently it will become online. So the model will re-evaluate itself every day and come out with a best MSP for those products, different zone wise. As of now, the government releases only one MSP for across the country. But subsequently using technology, you will be able to come out with MSP, which is daily or maybe a weekly MSP, zone and area wise. So that's the intent. So that's how the industry is moving. We know the various application areas would be like astronomy, bioinformatics, drug discovery. A lot of people, a lot of data science is being used in this drug discovery. Similarly, in business, we all have been thinking about it that CRM has a lot of data. And analyzing, using clustering, segmentation, we can do lots of use of data sciences. Fraud detection, e-commerce, manufacturing, sport. I'll talk about one case study wherein last year FIFA 2018 used IoT and business analytics. So I have a case study there. Web search, advertising, selected, targeted advertising is now the key. Which means you do not spread across the same kind of advertisement across. You segment your customers according to their needs. Whosoever is purchasing one kind of product, we just target them as one segment of users. So that's again an algorithm which is a segmentation algorithm. Okay. In government, surveillance, crime detection, profiling of tax seekers and all can be done. So that was about a general awareness of what data science is all about. Now I'll talk about some of the algorithms and some of the cases which have been in the industry is using. So by definition, I would say that data mining is extraction of knowledge from large volume of data that has both unstructured and structured databases. Data mining is a potential solution to a big problem facing many firms. They have an abundance of data, but lack of staff, technology, and time to transform that numbers into some quantifiable knowledge. Alternate names of data sciences are, people have been talking about knowledge discovery in databases, KDD, knowledge extraction, data pattern analysis, data archaeology. So these are all the typical names that industry is talking about. Data dredging, information harvesting, business intelligence as well. Okay. AI refers to the ability of the machine to perform cognitive tasks, so it learns from the historical past and then predicts the future. So it learns from history and creates a model which can then predict the historical or then the future as well. So it has a thinking power, learning, problem solving, and decision making as well. These are various steps of data science or data mining process. So the extraction of implicit, previously unknown, potential useful information from data. So data is first put into a data pre-processing process. It moves into a data, so it has lot of algorithm here, feature selection. So how those two variables of data are interlinked, related, whether are they related or not. So those kind of analysis can be done using feature selection, dimension reduction. Right? So when I said the minimum support price has 25 parameters, so those 25 variables have interlinked. Humidity plays a factor in MSP. Right? Sensex plays a key role in MSP. Do we have storage area in that area? So FCI has to give data. Think about it. If the cost will increase in case FCI doesn't exist in that area. So these are some of the parameters. 25 parameters play a critical role in deciding the minimum support price of a crop. So we decide on using the dimension reduction methodology. Then we do normalization, data subsetting. So if a data is missing, we do process and then put data into it. So we can create a mean of that data and put it in all those blank areas. So that's a part of the pre-processing process. Then we do actual data mining. Those are some of the algorithms like regression, clustering, segmentation. So we'll be talking about these methods in detail. And then when we do clustering and all, then we do a post-processing using filtering patterns, visualization, and then that is the information which is used in the industry and in the business. So that's the steps of data mining. In fact, data mining is not like looking at a phone number from a phone directory and all. So it is primarily looking for patterns from the data. Data mining is primarily looking at certain patterns. So like certain names can be very prominent in one area. So from the data, it will capture the patterns of the data. So industry is using some of these keywords like classification, which is predicting the pattern class. So you classify based on the complete data set, and which is used in predicting the item class. Clustering, finding the clusters in the data. So when you do clustering, so you know which kind of users is which their nature and pattern. Association, market basket. Every market basket is using Walmart. All these market baskets, they use association rules. What is that? If a particular user or a users buy one kind of product, likelihood they'll buy a next product as well. So they have a association from the data itself. Right? Every area will have a different association rules. One product you buy, the next product would be, they start shelving their products according to the association rules. Visualization, we all know that data can be visualized into good dashboards and different histograms and bar charts and box plots and all, right? Summarization is a summary of mean, median, mode of any data, so you can then do lots of analysis based on that. Deviation detection, outliers, deviation detections. So antiviruses, they all use this concept of deviation. So if a pattern is there, that's a regular pattern, and anything outside that pattern is a outlier. So system would know that this is a outlier and it will start alerting the system. So spam filtering.
I.T.S
So they all use this algorithm of deviation detection. Right? Estimation method, predicting a continuous value. So estimating a minimum support price from 25 multivariate analysis is a estimation method. Whether it will rain in next a week's time or so, it's all prediction and estimation, and that is based on history. It generates, and from the history it is calculating the predictive model, and then based on that model it predicts what it is likely to happen. And finding a relationship between two variables is link analysis. So if I talk about these, it can be all clustered into these four data mining tasks. One is called predictive modeling. Predictive modeling is like when you want to give a loan to a customer, you can complete from your historical data, you can give that data to predictive modeling algorithm. It will cluster that into a tree hierarchy. And then based on one new customer, whether you have less than 5 years of experience, you have a home, do you have additional loans available with you? So based on that historical data, it creates a complete tree structure. And then subsequently, a new customer when it comes, it matches and does a performance against these data, and then gives you a predictive model that, okay, so likelihood if it is more than 70% or whatever you decide, the organization decides how much they want to take a risk. So if it is more than 70%, let's say, they can award all these loans to a customer. So it is all using predictive modeling. Banks have all started using predictive modeling now. Clustering CRM's data. Now you don't spread the complete advertisements to everybody. It is all targeted ads, and they are all based on this clustering model. So from the complete data, you decide, let's say I want to create 7 or 8 clusters. So based on the mathematical model, it will start calculating and cluster them into 7 or 8 locations. And then you can take a next action on top of it. Similarly, association rules. Again, market basket is using effectively. If a person is asked to buy milk and Pampers, likelihood he'll buy a beer next to that as well. So that's one of the case studies. So if a person is asked to buy milk and Pampers, he'll search for the beer. So there's no correlation, but that's the fact. There's an association rule available, and this will be different everywhere else. In cold areas, it will be valid. In India, it may not be so. Right? So every market basket from their historical data starts calculating the association rule, and every month or so they restructure who is buying after one product, who is buying what. So they try to shelf their product in a way that they are all in the same area. Anomaly detection. I said if somebody logs in from Hong Kong, you immediately get an alert, right? Is that you? How does the system come to know? So they know the pattern of your login. Every time you are logging from Delhi, NCR, or sometime in Bombay or some. First time if you log in from Bombay, it will give you an alert. But subsequently, if every week and every month you are moving to Bombay and you are logging from the system, it knows that it is a regular pattern. Now, if somebody logs in from Hong Kong, now you can start getting an alert. Is that you? The system outliers. It quantifies and outliers the data. So those are anomaly detection methods. Okay? So data mining is all about a prescriptive and a descriptive methodology. Descriptive is more analyzing the historical past. Clustering, summarization, association rules, sequence discovery. So they are all based on the mean, median, mode and history of the data which you have. And predictive is based on that historical data. You are creating a model which is able to predict a future as well, which is a predictive model, which is classification, regression, time series methodology, prediction methodology. So they use an algorithm which is a predictive in nature. Okay. So one method is generalization. So you get lots of data analysis based on how you analyze your data, which is historical, and which is called generalization. Data cleaning, transformation, integration from various data sources, multi-dimensional data models, and then you start creating your OLAP model. We are from IT industry, so we understand what is OLAP and OLTP kind of transactions. OLTP are all online transaction processing kind of data, and these are analytical processing data. It's more of a data warehouse. Multi-dimensional concept is characterization generally. So this is generalization. Classification methodology, it talks about constructing a model based on some training examples and describes and description classes on concept of future predictions. So predict some unknown class labels, and typical methods used in this classification are decision trees, naive Bayesian classification, support vector machines, neural network, right? Rule-based classification, pattern-based classification. Your face identification is all part of the classification methodologies. Logistic regression. Heard of logistic regression? Again, it's a methodology which clusters and classifies different data into a similarity kind of. So one straight line can classify into two. A curve can also be created, which is a logistic regression. So typical use cases would be credit card fraud detection, your direct marketing, classifying stars, diseases, web pages. They are all part of classifying into different categories. I said giving you a loan is again a classification methodology, wherein if model for predicting a credit card worthiness can be created using this. You have the complete raw data, you create a model, and then based on that data you can then if a new customer comes in, you can decide on the complete trade worthiness of a customer. So even classification can be used as complex as predicting tumor cells from studies and different methodologies. Classification, one of the methods is a fraud detection methodology. Fraud detection, which is like predicting the fraudulent cases in credit card transaction. Approach is use the credit card transaction and information on the account of holders has various attributes. When does the customer buy, what he buys, and how likely he is paying, and then label the past transaction as fraud or fear, and then learn from this model and use this model to detect the fraud of new observations coming in. That's the model of how you identify the fraudulent cases of fraud detection. Churn prediction. All these telecom industry are using churn prediction. From the data, they are able to identify that you are likely to change the customer or the service provider now. Your payment behavior would have changed, right? Your call patterns would have come down. So there are multiple parameters based on which they take a decision, and they start calling to them. Oh, we have a better offers for you, and they want to retain you because the cost of gaining a customer is much higher than continuing with the same customer, right? So they want to retain you, believe me, and they can go to whatever extent to give you a better offer. So if you're, so how do they do that? Again, it's a methodology which is a churn prediction from the classification methodology. Next method is called cluster analysis. So it is unsupervised, and you can give the complete data into this method called cluster analysis, and then it does a clustering based on various thought process, the data, and various parameters. You give the parameters, and based on that, it creates the complete clustering of the data. So the algorithm has two criteria. One is it maximizes the intra-class similarity. So if you have let's say three different classes of similarity, so it maximizes the intra-class similarity, and within the same cluster, it minimizes the inter-class similarity. Within the cluster, it is minimizing, and amongst the clusters, it is maximizing. That's the two algorithm which takes care of the clustering algorithm. Like in this case, if we have a complete data spread into, let's say, logically these three logical clusterings. So finding a group of objects, such as objects of in a group, will be similar in nature and different from the other group. So intra-cluster distances are minimized, and inter-cluster distances are maximized. These are the two criteria based on which clustering happens. Nothing beyond that. If you want to create 4 out of this, so maybe 2-3 contents or attributes from this will make a 4th cluster. So it depends on how. So it is an iterative process. So you need to multiple times run the model, define how many clusters you want to create. Let's say if you want to create 8 of them, so it will start creating some of here, some here, some here. So but it doesn't make sense. Maybe 3 clusters in this case is a better model. So it's your experience, your data value which comes. You can, based on that, you can then create the number of clusters. So there are 2 different methodologies algorithm. One is called K-mean clustering, another is called hierarchical clustering. These are 2 popular methods. There are multiple of them, but these are very popular methods. Let's say if you want to create n from the n observations, you want to create k number of clusters, in which each observation belongs to the cluster with the nearest mean. So let's say if you want to create 3 in this data, it's an iterative process. So from the same data, you define all those 3 in a one center location. That's the center part of it. Then it starts calculating based on 2 algorithms. It has to maximize inter-clustering and minimize inter. So those 2 algorithms runs every time. It starts calculating the averages of the clusters. So in the next iteration, it moves 2 in a different direction, center point, and then again does a complete calculation of those 2 algorithms. Then moves those 2 points further to next clusters. So it is believed that 8 to 9 iterations, after that the movement of those center points doesn't move. So those are actually the centers of those clusters. So like after 8-9 iterations, this will not start moving, this will not move, these centers. So this becomes one cluster, another cluster, and then. So sometimes it happens that because of some outliers, there is a confusion of number of clusters. So you can remove outliers based on your jurisdiction and understanding. If you remove them, it will clearly define number of clusters as 3. Otherwise, it will get confused. It wants to create 4 or 5 based on those outliers as well. So that was about K-mean clustering. It's a iterative process, and from the end observation, if you want to take K number of clusters, define those K number of clusters at one point, and give the model to the algorithm. It will then, in the iterative process, it will start calculating the averages from the distance of those data points, and then it will finally have number of clusters there. Another method is called hierarchical clustering. This again very we call it a nested cluster as well. So it produces a set of nested clusters organized in a hierarchy and can be visualized as a dendrogram. It all creates a dendrogram based on the algorithm, and then if you want to, let's say, create 2 clusters, so if you split across this, you'll have one cluster this one, another this one, right? Clear? If you want to create 3 of them, move the line further down. These are 3 clusters. One this single, and 2 of them. So these are 3 clusters there. They are different in nature. Data points are different. So it has categorized them into a dendrogram based on number of clusters you want. You can decide on. Let's say 4 of them. You need to split here. So this is one cluster. This is another cluster. This is another cluster, and these 2 are the 4th cluster. So that's how the hierarchical clustering algorithm works. Okay? Okay. So there are other clustering algorithm use cases wherein, let's say from the C data, you can create K-means of partition data into surface temperature, and then you can define the color, coding them into different colors. Everybody is using it now. So this has been in use for quite some time, and worldwide ocean data based on surface temperature is all categorized into different colors based on the clustering algorithm. Market segmentation, again, we give the complete CRM data to the system, start creating the clustering, and then we can use target marketing and target sale as well, right? Next is association and correlation rules. This is again a methodology which is, I said, what items are frequently purchased together in case you buy a laptop. System knows that other users in 6 months' time buy a pen drive as well. Right? So it starts alerting you in 5 months' time about the best packages on USB drives because others are using it. So it knows that from the data itself that users are buying a next product in 6 months' time, maybe a year's time. So after a year, maybe you need a battery replacement. Others are using it. So there is one particular kind of product may be replacing a battery in a 1 year's time. So then if you have bought a Dell laptop, after 1 year it starts alerting you to buy a battery. So that's how the association and correlation works. As I said, diaper and milk, you may likelihood of buying beer, right? So depends on how every market basket will have a different association rules. In Delhi or Ghaziabad may have a different system. So now people have started using it now. These data science methods, and they put those shelves accordingly, and they change very frequently. Every month or so they start. So from the historical past, you come to know that how people are buying the buying pattern they come to know, and based on that they can cluster and shelf your products accordingly. So market basket and even medical information diseases can be identified. If you have this kind of a disease, likelihood of, if it is persistent for 6 months or so, likelihood you will have a next disease as well. So system predicts based on the kind of historical past it has. It can even be as complex as calculating the cancer patients. So if you are able to have the complete data of yours, it can predict lung cancer from the databases. Right. So it's become very effective now. Data science. Everybody needs to learn data science now. Another method is outlier detection. We talked about that data when you are clustering and doing a segmentation. Some of the data may be an outlier. But do you think all data outliers would be neglected and removed from this data business? No. There could be certain outliers which may become another cluster for you. So you have to take a genuine decision on outliers. So all outliers are not irrelevant for you. It may be a new kind of a pattern being generated, and subsequently over time, initially you may remove it, but you have to take care of the data in a longer term as well. Short term, you can remove it, but subsequently in long term analysis, you can consider those outliers as well. Like outliers, the data objects that deviate significantly from the normal objects. Unusual credit card purchases, alerting unauthorized logins. Let's say I was giving a lecture in IIM last month, and one of the students was a CA. So one of the students was a CA. She asked me, I was asking all of them after the session, how did you learn about it, where you will use this data science. She asked me in turn, sir, tell me where should I use data science. She was not clear about it. Then I said, okay, fine, you are from the CA community. What is your primary task? She said, I am into auditing. So I said, do you really audit 100% of the data? She said, no, I generally audit 10%, 10 to 12%. So I said, why not use this outlier methodology? Give the complete data to your model, identify your outliers, and those 10% would be your almost 100% then? Yes. So start using outlier methodology in your complete data, and audit those 10% only, which is outliers. That should be satisfied. In fact, I would say you can start using outlier methodology in one of the case studies of.
Next session I say we kara.
So that's one of the use cases of how we can audit and use data outlier. Credit card fraud, network intrusion detection, right? So we talk about I.T.S and I.T.S. They all use this change in deviation and anomaly detection. Detecting the changes in global forest cover. So it maps the complete data of one time, another overlapping it after 6 months time, calculates where all there is a deviation. So it is able to identify worldwide or a geographic area where all the deforestation has happened, or even afforestation would have happened. So based on that, it is able to create lots of analytics using these anomaly detection. Is it working? Stop. Looks like even the laptop is not working. It has come on. So there are outliers can be categorized in two of them. One would be a global outlier. You may not be aware, but across industry, everybody is considering one particular case as outlier. So you need to have an exposure of global outliers so that you can define that is a new virus coming in. For you, it may be a regular virus. It could be a regular virus, but across the globe, people are detecting it as an outlier. So it is a global outlier context. Subsequently, you can have a contextual, your own database, your own set of data. So that is called the contextual. 80% degree Celsius in one cold area is an outlier totally. For you, it is a normal one. Right? 80 degrees is a normal, Fahrenheit is a normal for you anyway. So that it could be a contextual outlier or it could be a global outlier. Another method is called regression. Very effectively used in the industry. From the historical past, you create a graph, and based on that, you have a dependent variable and an independent variable. Independent variables are those which are used to predict the variable, and dependent variables which we want to predict. So if we have not used X and Y graph to create all the data part into a linear curve. And based on Y is equal to mx plus c, we have been using it, right? So we calculate the angle, and then we can, any value of x, we are able to predict Y based on these formulas. Y is equal to mx plus c. But subsequently in data science it becomes very complex when you have data outside those Y is equal to mx plus c. So based on that, you can create the errors. You can predict errors. So there are various algorithms which predict those errors. Based on what parameters and variables, those errors would be quantified. So predicting sales amount for new product based on advertising expenses can be a regression methodology. So you can estimate your sales based on the historical path. If you would have spent X amount in your advertising, you got a particular level of sales. Then you can predict if you are spending 10% extra, how much would be the sales. So you can predict different sales and other parameters based on your historical path. You create a model, and then based on that model, you give the independent variable, and then you can estimate the output. Predicting the wind velocity is a function of multiple of them: temperature, humidity, air pressure, etc. So IMD uses this data. Based on multiple parameters of, it can identify the cyclones and different patterns of. Even time series prediction, stock markets, they predict how the stock market would react 5 minutes down the line based on the complete time series. Last year, this time, it had drastically changed. So from the time series, it is able to predict a stock market index. Yeah, they are using data science. They are predicting the complete inventory of plus and minuses based on predictions. It is going to drastically change because of elections coming in, right? So they do all this analysis. Data science is effectively used in the share market.
Based on this, they are predicting the TV and other things.
इलेक्शन में भी बहुत ज़्यादा यूज करते हैं।
वो तो सेंटिमेंट एनालिसिस को right. So like if you plot the complete data into X and Y graph, we've been using it, right? X and Y में पूरा plot कर दिया, and then you do a complete regression model. The best fit model is created from the algorithm, so which is like Y is equal to mx plus c, and there will be certain errors, right? Y is equal to mx plus c. This is what the standard formula is, and based on this error plus minus, this error is based on probability models. There are various probability models. Based on your data, it creates the probability model, and then using y is equal to mx plus c plus the probability errors, you can predict your output. So that is what is regression model. So there are various complex algorithms as well. So how much you want to create your complexity can be based on the various methodologies you use. So sometimes prediction becomes very hard as well. Why so? It could be because of the data not so clear. There could be errors in the data. Some outliers will make the prediction algorithm go wrong. Or even our managers, they don't believe in the result. If you come out with the data, go to them that this is what I'm predicting, they'll say nothing. Oh, what is this? Right? Generally, that's the psychology. Go back and rework it. Right? So I don't believe in the result, go back and find the mistake. So that's the basic psychology of a manager. So because they do not believe that this is likely to happen. Because data says that it is likely to happen. So ये है symptoms में पहले से मिल जाते हैं ना. Patterns emerge before the reason for them to become an apparent. Subsequently, it will become apparent, but symptoms are there. So data science helps you in identifying those symptoms. And you have to ask the right question. So data science is all about capturing data from the customers, and how you want to capture, how best you want to capture the data. You should not ask this kind of a question, right? Are you drunk? So, no. Obviously, the obvious answer is no. So you don't get any result out of it. So you have to ask genuinely good questions which can quantify the customers. Right?
How much it will increase?
Okay, so from data science perspective, these are the three key skills required in the industry. A person in the IT industry will have the computer science knowledge, which is like basic computer science, data structures, algorithm, even high-end algorithm use parallel processing, right? Scripting languages like R, Python, and Perl, and cloud computing. These are the skills required for a data scientist. The skills are required to be the statistical models, the probability, hypothesis testing, multivariate analysis. So statistics have been there for last 100 years, but the kind of calculations they do, they can only do these kind of calculations for 100, 200, 500 data sets, data points. But when it comes to big data, sorry. When it comes to data, big data.
Sir, pause लो एक बार.
हाँ ठीक है.
Make it normal then. We are patients. Don't worry on that.
So these are three basic skills. One being a statistician. Second, you have to be a computer scientist as well. And third, a business analyst. You need to understand your business. You need to understand your business as well, right? So how effectively that data with computer science you get an output, and you need to understand what that values are for your industry. So one being statistics, probability, hypothesis testing, and multivariate analysis, that is pure statistical models. But this data science has become very popular in last 3, 4, or 5 years. Why so? People have spent a lot of money and investment into taking these statistical models using computer algorithms. So now, even a computer programmer need not understand 100% of statistics, but using these algorithms, he is able to completely create a new model using those statistical models. Because R, Python, they are all readily available, and people have started using various statistical models and create an output from that. And then that output, you need to understand how it best fits with your organization. So now, the data statistics, which was already there for hundreds of years, people have spent a lot of effort in creating those statistical models into algorithms. And now you understand your business. So using these three skills, which is your statistical models, which is readily available now, your computer knowledge using R, Python, and your business skills. These three skills make you a perfect data scientist. So these three can be grouped into the data science, the business skills, and the IT skills. If you know two of them, you can do certain activities. If you know business and IT, you can just do a deployment and those kind of activities. If you have the business skills and the statistical models, you can be a decision maker kind of. Do you see certain patterns here? These are Jyotirling's samples. Data doesn't give you an insight. But when you run certain algorithm, starts giving you certain insights. So massive data doesn't give you insight. You have to run certain models to give you insights. These are all on the same latitude, longitude kind of. Okay. So data doesn't give you insight, but when you run these models, business analytical models starts giving you insight. So that was about various algorithms. Now I talk about how data science and data algorithm has evolved. So because of explosive data growth in data, data collection and data availability has become very effective. Using business like web, e-commerce, transactions, we have been collecting data. The main problem is that we are all drowning in data now, but starving for knowledge. Do we agree on that?
Yes, yes.
Right? Yeah. So we have lots of data, but we have to create knowledge out of it. So necessity is the mother of invention, and data mining is automated analysis of massive data sets. So because data has been collected over years, and there is a need of calculating and creating knowledge out of it. So these are primarily those 4 steps, which is like identify. First, you have to, and data doesn't give anything. You have to start questioning that data. Ask questions. Is my minimum support price related to humanity in that area? Start questioning. And from the data, when you run this model, it will give you a predictive model or a correlation model. It will give you a peer. Let's say if you are applying a Pearson correlation, it will give you a predictive. It will give you a correlation model. That correlation is from -1 to 1. If it is 1, it's a very strong correlation between 2 variables. If it is -1, it is inversely proportional. So you have to start analyzing the data based on how you question yourself. Then you have to prepare the data. Data preparation is a key part. 80% of your effort in a data mining goes into preparing your data, identifying your data. Where all are the sources? Am I getting some data from Twitter, Facebook, web, or do I have that in my data warehouse? Start questioning yourself and identify your data. Then you have to transform that data into a meaningful information. Start using your algorithm on that data. Then you get a complete information. And then validate the model into different samples. You have a test sample data. When you create a model, it's a general pattern that 80% of the data is used to create your model. 20% of that random sampling is used to test your data from that model. So when you test that data, you come to know, okay, I need to redefine my own data. Okay, so you go back to the data again, filter some certain outliers, and then use that model again to implement it or test it. When you are satisfied with the model, then you deploy it in production. So it's an iterative process, and no one tool will give you a same output. Believe me, every data science tool will give you a different output, slightly different. So you have to analyze yourself which tool you are using and which is effective for your kind of industry. So primarily, it's data sources could be any from your ERPs, your external data source, your operational databases as well. You can put it into a ETL process, extraction, transformation, and loading. You can put it in a relational database, or you can have a complex event processing engine from a big data concept. You can put it in a MapReduce engine. MapReduce is a big data concept wherein you can capture the complete big data using MapReduce processes. And either of the two processes, you can put it into a OLAP server, enterprise search engines, data mining and text analytical engines, reporting servers. And when you run your models on these, you get an output which is your dashboards, your knowledge. And then you can implement those knowledge into industry, in your business processes. So these are complexity, how you move. From the database, you do lots of data integration and move it to a data warehouse. You do variable selection and relevant tasks, move into a data mining, finally create a pattern evaluation, which is your knowledge. So these are various techniques and tools. Data can be created using graphs, social media, various websites, your structured data from your own operational databases. Knowledge to be mined can be used with all these methods, which is association, classification, clustering, like trend and deviation analysis, outlier detection. Then you can do descriptive analysis and predictive data mining. Techniques used would be OLAP, machine learning, statistical models, pattern recognition, visualization, face identification is all part of pattern recognition. Application areas, we discussed about that, retail, telecommunication, banking, fraud analysis, biodata mining, stock market analysis, they all can use these methods. And data science is just not data mining, it is use of multiple streams like statistics, pattern recognition, machine learning, your application areas, the various algorithms, different database technologies, big data, relational databases, high performance computing. Okay, are you aware, just a small question for you all, which is a relational database being used in Indian Railway Reservation System? Which is the relational database or database which is being used in main Indian Railway Reservation System?
I think older and global and
No. This is one of the leading biggest booking engine across the globe. So which database? Oracle, no. DB2, no. SQL, no. Any no. They are not using any other relational database. So what we designed at that point of time was a big data concept at that point of time. Right. What is that? It is using a key value data. Big data uses the concept of NoSQL. We also use the same concept of NoSQL, which is a key and the complete value in a flat file system. So it is using a flat file system, the key being your PNR number, the value being the PNR data.
Like in COBOL?
And exactly similar to COBOL only. Similar to that only, but we have used our own algorithm as a hash map. Which PNR lands to which particular row in the data, the flat file. That's the concept of how to straight away do a query using that hash map. Anybody aware of hash map? It's a 256 encryption methodology or hash. You create your own hash map. So we developed our own hash map algorithm, and based on a PNR number, it can identify which particular row. It's a unique row proposition. So it goes into a particular row, let's say 10,100 and something. So it straight away picks up the data from that row. And it is your PNR number and the complete data. It locks that record and then does the update process. So a typical RDBMS overheads is not there in this. So that's why it is so fast. 1 million of a second, it can do 100 millions of transactions. So that kind of a volume it is taking care of.
सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन
Yes.
मैं कोबोल डेज का डेवलपर भी रह चुका हूँ ना इतना वॉल्यूम डेटा हो जाता है उसके बाद हमारी जो इंडेक्सिंग एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स
परफेक्टली चल रही है यही तो थॉट प्रोसेस हम लोगों ने 1994-95 टाइम फ्रेम में बिग डेटा जो आज बिग डेटा आया है was being used at that point of time. It was a hash map and page mapping.
सर 2003 तक भी मैंने कोबोल के प्रोग्राम लिखे हैं
Like you, yeah. So that's the concept of the big data being used at Indian
Microfocus.
So when I was talking about database technologies, so there are multiple of them. One being a NoSQL database, which is being used in Indian development of Indian Railway Reservation System. And these welcome Arindam.
I would request to give a welcome to Mr. Arindam, member of our company service. He is secretary of the company.
He is secretary coming from Mumbai. So, Arindam, we were talking about data sciences, and these methods we have all used in our class 11, 12, kind of, right? Mean, median, mode. And then the complexity increases as we move into data science. All these logistic regression and different algorithms will give you a better clustering, regression, segmentation of your data. And when you present them into the graphs, we have skewness, which is like how the data is moving on one side. It is leaning to right or left. The tail is on the left. So in this case, the mean would be on the left side, median here, and mode. It is called a negatively skewed graph. So you get lots of analytics based on how the graph is looking. If it is a not skewed, average kind of a graph, all mean, median, mode would be in a single central location, central tendency. And when mean moves ahead of median and mode is a bit lower than that, it is a positively skewed. So you have lots of business knowledge based on how, whether it is negatively skewed or positively skewed. Even the height of the curve can give you a lot of insight. This, when it is quite high, it is called leptokurtic, and median is called mesokurtic, and the last one, which is a flat kind of graph, is platic kurtic. So this gives you again specific to your industry, it will give you a lot of insight. So data science presentation also gives you insight into how your industry is moving. Then you can sort your data and create 25% quartile. The first 25% of your data would be called the first quartile. 50% of your data from 25 to 50% would be second quartile. And second, third is your third quartile, 50% to 75%. And from 75 to 100% would be your fourth quartile. First quartile and fourth quartile are generally your outliers. So that's how you define your outliers. And Q2 to Q3, Q1 to Q3 is your very relevant data. 25% to 75% is your relevant data. So that can be created into a box plot. I'll talk about how the box plot works. But these are some of the methods or how you can represent your data. Box plot, which is a graphic display of 5 number of summary, which is outliers, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, mean, median, mode, and all we created into a box plot. Histogram, which is the X and Y representation of frequencies. Quantile plot. So you can sort the data, and each value is paired with frequency, and then you can have a complete Q plot. You can have two different variables into a single plot called QQ plot. Quartile plot, QQ plot is called. And that is used for comparison purpose. Two different variables, how they are scatter plot. So we'll talk about them as well. So this is a box plot. Seeing this kind of a graph. So these are the lower extreme, this is the highest extreme. This is Q1, this is a median, Q2, Q3 and Q4. So you know that there is a big outlier there. Why so? Because this scale has become very elongated. So all your average is somewhere there, but there are few which is making this a long tail. So from the graph itself, you can identify your outliers, your average, mean, median, mode, different. So outliers can be defined. These are somewhere outliers are here. Histogram we have been using. So every boardroom uses lots of histogram data. But generally, many times, box plot of these two graphs would be the same. Agreed? Mean, median, mode, outlier, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 would be the same. So, many times, you have to use multiple graphs to identify the differences in the data. So, in this case, box plot will not work for you. You have to use a histogram as well. So, there is a knowledge that one type of visualization will not work for you. You may have to use multiple of them. So these are few plots. You sort the data, put it into a graph. You know how whether if the graph changes drastically, you know that there is an outlier there. And even two different variables can be plotted into a single graph, which is called a QQ graph, and you can compare. So it is used in trend analysis. Last year's data versus this year's data. How it is. Even railways have started using this as predicting the. Have you seen that? Anybody seen the likelihood of your ticket getting confirmed?
Yes.
They are using this.
It is with respect to the last.
So they are using for multiple last years, and they are predicting your confirmation based on how it has happened last year. So I have one slide there as well. So a scatter plot is plotting the data into a scatter plot. Scatter plot again can be positively skewed, or negatively skewed, or even a curvilinear. You can have a curve formula there, and then you can predict your based on X, you can predict your Y as well. Or it can be uncorrelated data. Then you have to segment. Then you cannot have a regression model. You need to have a clustering them into different segments. You have seen that tree graph of your hard disk. हार्ड डिस्क को उन्होंने फॉर्मेटिंग से पहले सेगमेंटेशन किया तो दिस ऑल सेगमेंटिंग एंड दिस कॉल्ड ट्री मैप presentation. So data science as such, machine learning is all about a supervised learning or an unsupervised learning. Supervised learning is like you give certain inputs to the data, then it starts creating classification, your regression. So all classification methodologies and regression methodologies fall into supervised learning. And when you give the complete data and it creates some certain insights, which is a unsupervised learning, which is clustering, your dimension reduction. It identifies which two variables are correlated, which two are inversely related. So you give the complete data and it does a complete dimension reduction. Clustering, I said, you give the data, it starts creating clusters, best fit clusters based on those two logics. And reinforced learning is primarily used in robotics. What is the concept of a robotic working? It works on, it is called reinforced learning, and robotics works on a principle of reward and penalty. So every move, it calculates whether I am getting a reward or a penalty. If it is a penalty, it will take a different correction path. If it is a reward, it will move in the same direction. So that's the concept of reinforced learning, which is reward and penalty. And these are some of the methods which are effectively and most likely used in the industry. Top 10 algorithms are your regression, very effectively used, clustering, decision tree, rules based, and all your visualization tools, K-mean, right? PCA, statistics, your random forest, time series, and text mining. I use text mining very effectively. So I'll show some of the cases how I have done that. So why you believe data science has come now? I have already discussed that, right? Why? Massive data storage has become very cheap. All your hard disk, which was a very costly affair some 10 years back, terabytes and terabytes of data. Even your mobile is a very effective computing device now.
87 में 8 इंच का फ्लॉपी होता डेटा का और 8 इंच का फ्लॉपी होता प्रोग्राम का ये डेटा साइज था 87 अब देखिए कहां पहुंच गया
That is what it is.
उससे सिस्टम बोर्ड होता था
पंच कार्ड सिस्टम से होते थे
so drastic changes have happened. So there is ready availability of large amount of data with exponential growth. So that has led to data science. Sharp decline in cost of storage and unlimited level of computing power and bandwidth. There is a concept of edge computing now. What is that? Anybody? Everybody is talking about edge servers, edge computing. क्या है ये edge servers, edge computing? So these are primarily those servers which are near to your IoT devices or devices which are capturing data. Which means if you have hundreds and thousands of devices capturing the data, you cannot 100% send that data to your cloud servers. You need to have certain device which has knowledge, which either filters or takes a corrective action for your data and then sends your filtered data to your cloud computing. So it reduces your bandwidth utilization and you get a filtered correct data. So all those algorithms which are filtering algorithms you have to create in your edge servers. So that's the concept of an edge server. Now clear about edge servers now?
Yeah.
Okay. And fact-based decisions have resulted into emergence of self-service analytics. That is the key important point. Even a 2 years experienced programmer can now use data science algorithms and the data to create insights, which was earlier job of a statistician. They would take months to calculate a regression factor, your clustering algorithm, right? So they would take months to come out with a output of 100,000, 10,000 records. Those are manual and Excel-based calculations. But subsequently, it is all because of the research being done to have a IT using the statistics. Rapid rise in AI investment. So this is the key. Rapid rise in AI investment and advanced analytical techniques, which has helped analysts to have access to sophisticated technologies. So that's how the data science has evolved in the last 3-4 years, and it is a hype as of now. So this graph again is from Gartner, which says that how difficult your models are, the best value you would get. ये तो सिंपल है. प्रोग्रामिंग में हम जितना ज्यादा प्रोग्रामिंग करेंगे, जितना ifs and buts ये कंडीशंस हैंडल कर लेंगे, उतना अच्छा आउटपुट आएगा, एरर्स कम आएंगी. Exactly the same, which is like in this data. So when you have insight into data, which is called a descriptive analysis. History में क्या हुआ, historical data का. So you get what has happened. It's very simple. No complexity. You get less value there. History का, historical past का आप analyze कर पा रहे हो. And then you have diagnostic analytics, which is you start using some intelligence on that data. Data का analysis किया, history आ गई, आपने कुछ values gain कर ली. But when you start using some insight into that, a business intelligence, this is called diagnostic analysis. Why did it happen? क्या reasons थे? So you are getting into some quantified reasons why the data has or a particular thing has happened. When you move further into that, predictive analytics, when data with some forecasting machine learning methodology will give you what will happen, future forecast. So complexity has increased and the value is also increased, right? But when you use three of them, which is data, your business intelligence, and your forecasting machine learning methods, it will give you a prescriptive analytics, which is the highest of all these data science methods, which will say, how can we make it happen? You are now controlling your inputs, right? So it is the use of your data, your insight into business intelligence, and the forecasting methodologies. All three of them, when you get the output, it is called the prescriptive analytics. So you are controlling your inputs to calculate the output. So that's the highest level of data science. We all seen that these are use cases of business analytics. The risk analysis, data involvement, balance scorecard, supply chain. Effectively, supply chain is using very heavy use of data science. How you share your products, which product is being sold effectively, from which store, and all that, and how effectively you can transfer your product with the least cost. So operational research and supply chain management using business analytics It's very effectively being used now. So Government of India has also worked on a strategy note on artificial intelligence. Has anybody seen this? Last 6 months or so, they have released a draft national strategy on artificial intelligence. On the other side, NITI has released a draft paper. They have asked input from CIOs and industry. Now it's almost conclusion, and Government of India is focusing on these 6 verticals. One is healthcare, agriculture, education, smart cities and infrastructure, and transportation. Even all OEMs, all private sector is all well aligned with these 6 verticals. Heavy investment would go into these 6 key focus where artificial intelligence would be used. So I would suggest download this document. It's a 30-40 page document, and when you download and read this, it will give you a good insight of how data science, artificial intelligence is going to be used in these 6 verticals, right? So that was about data science. I'll quickly walk through with how now everybody thinks that data science is a unstructured study, but it has matured over years, and there's a methodology called CRISP data mining methodology, which is all OEMs have come together to form a process called cross-industry standard process for data mining. Different OEMs have come into that. It's a 6-step process. The first step being business understanding. So you have to define your questions, which I was asking, right? You have to define your own questions, and then prepare the complete data. You have to understand your data. Which data will come from which data source? Define the complete data understanding. Then you have to pull that data preparation. Right? Filter the data, mesh the data, and then you create a complete data model, the data analytics model. Right? Subsequently, you test using your test data, and then finally, and it's a iterative process. You go back, if you are not satisfied with the model, go back again. Prepare your data again. And then when you are satisfied with the model, which is working effectively for you, deploy it. And after deployment, you start getting data. Use that data again back to your data, and then do that model again. Many of the industries are evolving their business models every month. So they change their business model based on the historical past that they get. So their models are evolving, and it's a iterative process for them. So the first is business understanding, right? So assessment of situation, data mining goals, generation of project plan. So it's a complete how we want to use data mining. Data understanding, the collection of initial data, description of data. For you, a column name A would mean something else. Right? For a developer, it may mean something else. So you have to clearly define your data, understand the data. So description of data, exploration of data, and verification of the quality of data. The data which is 7 years old may not be relevant for you at this point of time because the business model has changed. So you have to decide on the relevancy of the data. Data preparation, then all these methods are used for data preparation. Collection of data, select the data, integrate data, right? Normalize, aggregate your data, construct the new attributes. You can use multiple columns to create a new column as well. And you can then analyze this on. And then data modeling, I said, then you have to evolve your method. And finally, when you deploy it. So those are the 6 iterative processes. Quickly, I'll draw. So that was about the data science. I'll now talk about the case studies which I have implemented. So I was last working on a solar energy company, and we have deployed or implemented an IoT solution. All that we had a customer base of more than 40,000 from that solar industry, and 40,000 IoT devices sending data to the servers. Then we started analyzing using business analytics, and we modified the business processes based on the output of data science. I'll show you that. So this IoT device need came when earlier we had a solar panel. These are very small systems which we wanted to give to jhopdi kind of deep villages which do not have access to electricity, and they were using kerosene as the source of energy. तो हमने उनसे हमारा बिजनेस मॉडल ये था कि आप केरोसिन वाला जो 300 रुपए इन्वेस्ट करते हो पर मंथ, stop using kerosene, start using this clean energy. We'll just start 10 rupees, no investment on your side, right? So we deploy the complete system, the charge controller, and 2 LED bulbs, 1 fan, 1 mobile charger. So those kind of basic setups with 300 rupees per month for 3 years only. So we got cost plus some margins or operational cost and all. So it was a volume game for us. Right? For people on foot would go there, collect money every month, and do a preventive maintenance as well. So, but subsequently, people stopped paying to us. Why so? The community generally becomes delinquent. One person is not happy, he'll convey that message to 5 other houses, and then all stop paying to you. So our delinquency factor, we were not able to recover our money from 50% of the houses. So our business model was failing. See, understand? So we came up with the complete IoT-driven data science solution. We created an IoT solution, embedded it as part of the solar panel itself, sealed it with that, and put a sensor around it. So if somebody tries to pull out the IoT device, it will break the continuity and will get an alert, SMS alert. So there was an embedded SIM which was communicating, capturing all that sensor's data and sending to our cloud. And then we, based on their usage pattern, we would then do a complete billing.
In this case of this AS server is not required.
AS server was not required because it is directly communicating and we need that data. 100% of them. कितना usage हो रहा है, कितना sun की ambience है उस पे, cleanliness कितनी है, ये सब data capture कर पा रहे थे. And we wanted that data. Why so? If they are using 80% of the usage, then we need to upsell our products. So upsell, cross-sell, ये सब करने के लिए हमें data चाहिए था. And we wanted all this 100% data. So this IoT device, we understand that it is those devices with the connectivity which is end-to-end connectivity, which is directly communicating to the cloud. Right? So we had embedded SIMs, and data was all secure. Please understand. This data communication from IoT devices to the cloud was all on VPN, secure VPN. Okay. And the data, when we were able to collect the data, we would do lots of analytics on top of it. These are different industrial IoTs, but these are our solar product range. So this IoT was a requirement for tracking of power usage, the payment behavior, alerts, activation, true pay-as-you-go model, right? So we wanted to create a true solar as a service, tamper-protected device. A control moves closer to the source. So earlier the control was at a charge controller.
So when you say tamper protection over here, the tamper was tampering the.
So any tampering done on the solar panel itself would give us an alert, right? So any tampering done, so that circuit, very thin wire around embedded as part of the system would break, and we would get an alert. So it has Bluetooth connectivity. So in case SIM was not working for some time, our person would go there, remotely connect through Bluetooth and collect the data and enable the services. So even though this was a B plan, contingency plan, consumption based metering. So we are collecting all the data, so we are aware they are 180% of the consumption, 50% of the consumption, they are not using it all. So we come to know lots of statistics based on the data which we were capturing. So temperature sensors and ambient temperature circuitry.
So normally generation will capture, that is okay. So TLC nature or something kind of. But how the person is using, so the different meter is specifically planned for this.
No.
But
So
it is how the cloud service is capturing that data.
eh?
Cloud service is capturing the generation data, that is okay. But how the person is using some.
We are using the complete data for ourselves. For cross-selling, upselling, and giving the other products to them. You need a battery replacement because battery is discharged as of now. Right? Yeah, you are already using 80% of the consumption. Why not go for a better product? Cross-selling and upselling. All that data capture was for us. And we are not charging that value from the customer. It is all that only that they should continue. And we won't enable and disable the services remotely. Right? So output of solar panel, we can remotely enable or disable. Yeah, so that was the system. We use that the complete data which we captured, around 40,000 customers' data. We did a business analytics from that data. In financial terms, we call it DBS, days behind schedule. Right? What is that? The customer has not paid from if it is due on 30th of January and 7th of February he has not paid, so there is a 7 days DBS. So we did an analysis on DBS and monthly recharge amount. So if he is using a bigger product, he would have a higher monthly recharge, right? So we did a Pearson correlation and came out with that there is a heavy correlation between these two variables. From that, and 0.4 is a good correlation between days behind schedule and monthly recharge amount. Which means these are directly related. So he is becoming delinquent because the amount is higher for him. So initially we were giving 1 year cycle, so EMI was higher. So we decided that it should be 3 years time frame. So EMI came down. So this data showed us that there is a discrepancy in our business plan, so we should change it, right? And it paid for us. Subsequently, DPS and vintage of customers, those users which are more into the system are called vintage. 6-7 महीने से payment कर रहे हैं continuous. So, is there any relationship between days behind schedule and vintage of customers? Very heavy correlation. That means those people who are into the system more would become delinquent. तो हमारा जो पहला वाला thought process था, ये कंप्लीट कर रहा है ना? Are you getting that point?
Yes, yes, sir.
So vintage aging of the customer was directly related to him not paying. And earlier we have decided that from 1 year we should go to 3 years time. So these are conflicting. So we decided we should have a lower lease term, which is from the first process, and we should promote early buyouts. Give them 30% discount on the remaining amount, and ask them to buy. And that would help us. Right? So data science really helps. That's the key here. So I wanted to show it with the data that we have already implemented, how those two conflicting situations gave us an insight that if we decrease the EMI and increase the time, that is also not going to pay for us. Subsequently, it should be that we should have a in between those two methods. The third was, are these delinquent users have a higher monthly income? So there was no correlation. Earlier, our thought process was that people who do not have good earnings would need these kind of systems. Our selling proposition was this. And we were doing a lot of effort in calculating their monthly income. कितनी बकरी हैं, कितने गाय हैं, कितने क्या हैं, and quantify them. There was a complete team calculating of that income. कितना लैंड है, कितना कच्चा हाउस है, कितना पक्का हाउस है. तो इसको कैलकुलेशन करके हम उसे बहुत उसमें हमें बड़ा स्ट्रेटजिक मॉडल बना के थे. So believe me, we stopped that after this. We knew that उसका कोई correlation है नहीं. So we stopped that massive effort of calculating the monthly income. We said fine, no worry. सबको दो, जिसकी need है, जरूरत है, please. So we were rejecting certain cases which were higher income group. ऐसे ही हमारा एक सही प्रपोजिशन था कि आपके बच्चे जो हैं पढ़ेंगे, सोलर एनर्जी आ जाएगी तो पढ़ेंगे, ये करेंगे वो करेंगे, आपके ज्यादा बच्चे हैं तो ज्यादा, तो कितने स्कूल गोइंग चिल्ड्रन हैं उसका डीबीएस के साथ किया कोई रिलेशनशिप था नहीं. So delinquency was independent of people. अगर 4 बच्चे हैं तो हो सकता है पेमेंट ना कर पा रहा हो, ऐसा सोच. So we again stopped in nothing way कि हमारा सेलिंग प्रपोजिशन ही खत्म हो गया, हमें कुछ और मॉडल बन गया. Right. So business analytics really gives you insight into the industry, and then again age of the customer. We were not giving those solar energy to 18-year-old guy, but उसमें कोई correlation था नहीं. तो हमने बहुत सारे रिजेक्ट कर दिए थे कस्टमर्स जस्ट बिकॉज वो 18 साल का था, 16 साल का था, जो भी. फिर हमने रियलाइज किया डेटा डजंट शो दैट. Started giving them all the reasons. So that's one of the case study wherein I thought I'll share the insight of the organization. So this data is nothing personal about it or non-confidential. So I was able to. There were multiple of them which was confidential and stopped it. Okay. So it gave us lot of sovereignty, it increased the business because of use of data sciences. Quickly, let's move on to some of the use cases. E-commerce. I was working on a B2B travel portal, and from the data analysis insight, we got to know that on Tuesdays, there were lots of women doing transactions on B2B travel portal. That came out from the data insight. हम लोग अपने आप में करने लगे, क्यों? Why so? So we came to know that most likely the couples would have discussed a travel plan on Sundays, right? और मंडे को उससे कहा होगा टिकट कर देना, नहीं किया, तो ट्यूसडे को लेडीज ने कर दिया होगा. And in fact, I was true case. 90% of people, ladies who are doing transactions on Tuesdays were those who have decided on Sunday and did a transaction on Tuesdays. So we started giving 10% discount to ladies on Tuesdays. So that all came from the data science, use of data science. Right. So quickly, churn prediction and all we have already, recommendation engine, customer segmentation, market campaign optimization, product inventory optimization. These are all where we can use data science. Supply chain optimization, customer segmentation. I'll share this presentation with you also.
Yeah, you get
Inventory forecasting. HR is effectively using it now. Who are aware that HR is using it?
Yes,
behavior analysis. Your likelihood of changing your operations also comes from your data and sentiment. Based on attritions and all, we can calculate a lot of information. So HR is effectively using it. Most of the organizations have started taking consultancy from these business analytical tool companies, which give them insight. Fake reviews detection, very चर्चा का विषय है यार.
Likes बढ़ गए, million songs के लिए likes आए हुए.
So relevancy algorithm, people are coming up with relevancy algorithm, which is used to assess how relevant a review is for the specific product or something. And this gives you insight of whether that relevancy factors give you whether it is a fake news or not. Multivariate testing, recommendation engine, pricing, profit, sales forecasting. Okay, so this is about that railway one. Quickly about railways, you all know. Right. So PRS is the entire railway. It completed in 1999. PRS is currently running many locations, deployed in terminals. So internet booking was started too. That's the IRCTC part, 2002. A very interesting story. Can I share that?
Please.
When we were working on the PRS development, we went to Railway Board in 1999, saying that we need an e-commerce kind of a solution for complete. Earlier there were only terminals. You can do transactions through those terminals. And there were cross terminals for Bombay PRS, Calcutta PRS. So that was all named into a single PRS. And by the year 2000, it was all single network reservation system. From one terminal, you can do transactions from Delhi to Bombay, as well as from Bombay to Delhi. Earlier, it was not so. Okay. Then we said we should have an e-commerce portal. They were about outrightly rejected, saying that we have 10,000 customers, not more than 7-8 in the queue. So those kind of justifications they did. But for the development cost, we brought a server, small development server. That was the Y2K project. You know the hype created from Y2K. So our application was already Y2K compliant. So we didn't spend so much money on Y2K. So we bought a server. Otherwise, there was a complete process to buy a server. So we bought a small server. That was the time when the e-commerce boom was in 99 2000. .com boom है ना? तो हमने एक HTML पेज बनाया सिंपल सा. उसमें हमने एक CGI स्क्रिप्ट यूज किया. तो CGI कॉल को यूज करके मेल फ्रेम से कनेक्ट करके we got the peanut data details. और आप peanut डालो उसका एक HTML में उसका डेटा पॉपुलेट हो. इतना पेज बनाया. और BSNL से हमने उसका एक IP एड्रेस ले लिया, उस सर्वर का टर्मिनेट कर दिया. तो जिस दिन हम शाम को 5 बजे करके गए, तो peanut IP एड्रेस /peanut.html. That was Apache server को पहला पेज था. किसी को नहीं पता है. We just 5-7 developers we were aware of it. That night there were 1,000 hits on that server. Peanut number डालो, you get the current status. Next day morning when we came back, by noon there were 10,000 hits in that server. Believe me, by end of the day there were 1 lakh hits, and next day the server crashed. So there was an apparent need of an e-commerce portal. The next day when we ran the server again, there were more than 10 lakh hits on that server. We would stop that server. When excited, we went back to Ready Board with that data. Exactly. So that crashing of the server evolved this IRCTC. And recently, again, IRCTC portal was a broad vision based server. It has a framework called broad vision. But subsequently, it could not handle trillions of transactions per second. So there was a limit. It was hitting a bottleneck. That was 3 years back. I was again involved, asked to get involved, and because I have developed the e-commerce portal which was handling millions of transactions, so we implemented 2 technologies there. And that drastically changed the IRCTC part, which is as of now. One is called in-memory computing. We loaded all the database, which was the static data, into the memory. Second,
this is probably HANA is using, right?
No, we are not using it. It's all Oracle का in-memory computing tool use कर रहे हैं. The second one technology was cache management system.
Like
So,
CDN.
In earlier transaction framework, every transaction would go to PRS to capture, fetch the data, and then display it onto the system. So there was again a channel bandwidth issue. It can handle not trillions of data transactions. So we did complete cache of transactions into the IRCTC. Every 10 seconds it would go fetch the complete data, availability, and update the data. So it would never go to PRS. Only at the time of booking it will go to PRS. So the booking is hardly 0.001% of the total searches that happen. So complete system drastically improved. Exalogic. Oracle Exalogic with in-memory computing. So both those technologies, in-memory computing and the cache management. Earlier it was static data caching, but subsequently you see there is a delay also. You can do a refresh. So that is because 10 seconds delayed data is being display. But if you want to get a live data, you can do a refresh and get the live data. So that improves the.
It throws out also.
Yeah.
It logs out. Whenever you go for a refresher.
So that could be some error, I don't know, but generally these two technologies help ICTs to improve the data. Okay. So quickly, just I will move on to this architecture. I'm not going to that. 100% uptime. So they have used data, a complete data warehouse for last 20 years of data. Now, based on that, they are able to predict your confirmation. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Most of us.
Yes.
So this is because of that data warehouse which has been created for last 20 years of data, and it is using time series analysis with predictive models to effectively create a probability percentage. That's again using data science. Okay. Again, FIFA last year had used effectively data science. All players were having a band which is an IoT band. They can identify the sweating, the running, the fatigueness, the pulse rate of a player. The managers would then decide which player to replace and which player is likely to do a goal based on the IoT device, the data which is live capturing on a tablet, and he is able to take a quick and fast decisions. So data science is really transforming. Again, so 1 billion cameras would be used in 2020. Nobody manually can monitor them. You need tools. These tools are all real-time surveillance tools now. They are all using artificial intelligence, face recognition, pattern recognition, voice recognition. They are all artificial intelligence tools. It can also detect vehicle, the license number. We get license challan in expressway, right? Has anybody got it? So there are people who are regularly getting it. More than 100 kilometers. Immediately they get an alert. So it is able to identify the face of the person who is driving and the number plate. It's all using business analytics. The pedestrian, people counting, face identification, right? Vehicle model and all. So subsequently you can also have suspicious behavior on the backpack, mask, close eye, riding, all these. So business analytics also have some negatives. One is, from the physical point of view, if I can say, a remote control car crash. Think about it. Somebody hacks into the system.
Already done with the
in digital, sophisticated phishing. Business analytics is generating phishing now. Think about it. You start preventing them. It knows what kind of tool you have used. Right. And it will start phishing based on the tools you have used. So business analytics is going to disrupt the industry, both in positive and the negative. Political manipulation of public opinion. We have already seen 2016 US elections. It was all Twitter handled data. Was manipulation of public opinion. So every industry is going to use business analytics. And there's a Zomato case study which talks about how they have implemented business analytics to effectively optimize the fleet capacity, delivery time protection, all that using various Python and S3 servers, Elastic being and all. So you can go through this as well. This I have done recently. There's a product from Heavens Edonia. Last 2-3 months back, I created a complete Twitter analytics. Last 200 tweets, I calculated the sentiment. And sentiment is against English language, right? So there are tools available to calculate the sentiment of a sentence against whether it is positive, negative, or neutral. And to what extent positive and what extent negative. So you can quantify that into -5 to whatever data. And then based on that, if you plot it, you know there are few who are very negative. Then sales guys can directly go into those negatives and try to improve the process. So sentiment analysis is effectively used nowadays. Word cloud, we have seen that, right? So you give a keyword from the industry. searches the complete Twitter handle and all, and captures based on the size, it says what keywords are being used. So that's also zone segmentation. So there are methods to quantify your keywords, and then you can then take up corrective and preventive actions. So I would say finally, this is the last slide, and I would say that it's a process, not a product. So data science is evolving, and everybody has to use a product and a business thought process behind it. How effectively you are going to use it. 3 T's: try, test, and clear into it. So, and your data is worth more than what you think. That's the key. You do not, you have data, please start using data science to have a work out of it. And finally, I would say the meaning of, from my point of view, data science means torture the data and it will confess to anything. Thank you so much.
Makes sense.
So, to what extent you torture the data? Thank you so much.
Thank you for the
I hope आपने डाटा कलेक्ट कर लिया है अच्छे से. अब बताते हैं इसके प्रॉस एंड कॉन्स.
Data is considered as gold. They are also in that line.
Very effective.
भाई तो बेसिकली नतीजा सर रहता है हमारा गुरु है ये. सर जो है वो सर.
So everyone is talking about data. So now government is taking care of how you guys are using this data. Are you actually using or misusing this data, the information which you are collecting by any source of the medium?
Recently, government has introduced some snooping policies.
Yeah.
Privacy policies.
कितना impact करने वाला है?
Everything is covered into that. So इसकी वजह से मेरी वॉल्यूम कम कंट्रोल करनी पड़ेगी. Okay. Why the bill? You know, rightly said, many people say data is the gold or data is the next petrol. So it will burn the market if you don't, use properly that data. It should not be get misused. It should not get, leaked into the market, and we should not disturb anyone's privacy by using that data. So, because if you are collecting some data, it should have some, limits of uses for that. What happened in the past, we have seen that data is being freely available for sales. Right? One company has collected the data. Like there's many companies are there which is saying that we are selling the data. So you talk about this many this company in Noida which is into this. You call them and you get the services after that. So they are also selling their data. So those kinds of business is going to be shut down. And if they don't go with these data protection bill and laws. So that is why. And the secondly thing, on day-to-day basis, you have seen that you have shared your email ID, the mobile numbers, some specific things. But the problem is that you are getting the different kind of which you are not need to be sent to you. Some promotions, some other things, getting a call that buy this home or these things. So now after GDPR, the Indian government is very serious about the privacy of any individual. It should not get, get disturbed or should not get private. It can be like anything. For example, you guys are sharing your medical history to one of, maybe some hospitals or doctors or something like that. What if that data get leaked? You have some kind of disease. You don't want to disclose to the society, but it gets leaked. So to control that thing, this data, this bill has been come into the picture. It was expected to be in 2000, early 2018, but unfortunately, we got it now. So, the data production, the data production grew out of public concern about personal privacy in the face of rapidly developing computer technology. Why this bill? Because data is freely available on internet and technology now so cheap that you can access anything from anywhere. Fine. So it works in two ways. Gives certain rights to the individual. Now, if you're sharing your data to someone, fine, for particular one service or one product or whatever that, so you have some rights. You can ask some questions. Up to what exchange you will get those unwanted services or what. You just read that carefully. Now, people earlier say that you have accepted by terms and conditions. So terms and conditions doesn't mean you own this guy. You own his privacy.
Yes.
Fine. See, there is a terms and condition page size, the 2 pages. Who's going to read that? No one. And those terms and conditions is being developed and designed for his business use, not for the concern of user. Secondly, obligate those who record and use personal information to be open about that use. So now he has to disclose openly and regularly to his subscriber why I am getting your data, why I am using your information, and where I use that. And if he try to, for example, A company has sold to B company, so B company cannot use that data openly because that user has access, has signed up for the services for the A company. So again, the B company has to request the user, because I have acquired this company, now besides this, we are also providing these kind of services to you. So please be a subscriber to my services. Understand? So this is why this bill has come into the picture. So secondly, everyone is talking about GDPR. GDPR comes into the picture, and secondly, another thing is that so many GDPR was a scam. Okay, it's a you can say, but it's a scam actually. To understand, it depends upon the users how and I have to use your data. Fine. So why GDPR come into the picture? To give the specific business transactions to some organizations or some product. You have seen that there was a no DLP, no MDM, nothing like that earlier to that. This is my perspective. Please don't take it as it's my perspective. So after that GDPR, the growth of sales in security solution is being increased by 215%. That's a true fact. Earlier, out of 100, there is a buyer of 10 to 15 users who's going to buy those MDM and DLP solutions. See, it is necessary. I know it's necessary to secure anyone's data or anyone's privacy, but but everyone is not using that data for their commercial use or some selling for getting the money out of that data. Only just because of those 10% or 15%, the whole industry got affected by that. Many people just shut down their business in EU. That's a true fact. I have seen a lot of organizations which is not now handling any customer, any requirement from EU. See, okay, let's see. So important terms, what is the personal data? Okay, personal data. So there are two kinds of things. If I am sending a mail to your corporate email ID, fine. So that's the official data. That's not a personal information. I am not using the personal data. Same time, if I am sending a mail to abc@gmail.com for his personal ID, I am validating that. If I am sending a promotional mail because I have met you, have shared me card, it's an understanding that officially we can communicate to each other. But I know your personal email ID and your personal mobile number. It's not giving me the right to disturb you at your personal email ID or your personal mobile number. So you understand now you understand what is the personal data and what is the official data. Secondly, any data which is related to your family, your health, your financials, this is your personal data. Processing. Processing is actually how the means the data has been collected from one user to by one organization from the users. For example, you must be signing up for different e-commerce portals for buying something and something. So earlier, what happened? They send you the free mailers every month. Okay, you have buy TV now, buy this thing, this. We have seen that grants sales is happening on 20 to 23rd. So now it is going to be shut because you have subscribed to buy something, not to buy or not to get the alerts what you are doing. I'll be scared. If I need something, I will visit your website. It doesn't mean you bother me on every day. People are sending 10 mails on daily basis. Or if you check, you will get one mail for electronics, another mail for your kitchen items and other things. So this is now every subscriber, every organization has to disclose how they are collecting the data and what information they are collecting from the users. Maybe some companies are also accepting. Anyone is using Amazon? Okay. Once you done the credit card, buy from you do one thing. You buy one thing from the credit card. Next time you don't need to put the credit card into that. You already saved. So who has given the right to them to save your credit card details into the portal? No one. This is going to be checked again. See, okay, sensitive personal data. Sensitive personal data may be your password, your financial data, which we have discussed, your health data, official identifier, sexual orientation, biometric, whatever. This is. So anything which is related to which you don't want to disclose to the society. Right? This is your sensitive personal data. Now, everybody knows about GDPR little bit. So there is a DPO, Data Processing Officer. See? So here same thing is a DEA, Data Processing Administrator. Right? So data fiduciary, any person, including a state, company, any juristic entity or any individual who alone or in a conjunction with other determination and the purpose and mean of processing of personal data. See, now every organization has to define particular department to process this data. For example, I'm a department. I've got a data processing in an organization. Now sales need data for anything. So I just need to understand what he has to do that. Earlier what happened? Okay, we have the data. Please send me data sheet. I need to do some campaigns into that. Now if he does something wrong, the company has to pay for that. And DPA will ensure for both ways, from to government as well as from the organization side to maintain if any breach is happening. So he has to immediately disclose to the server. Right? Data principle, the natural person to whom the personal data belongs to, he has to immediately disclose to the server. Right? Data principle, the natural person to whom the personal data belongs to, he has to immediately disclose to the server. Right? Data principle, the natural person to whom the personal data belongs to, he has to immediately disclose to the server. You. So data processor, any person who is processing the data, so that's a data processor. Applicability within India, by state, non-state, foreign entities within India. By data actually or data processor not present within India but having connection with any business in India. For example, there's many CEOs, founders, and they sit in US, they sit in Dubai, Singapore, but they are processing, their company is processing the data of Indian subcontinent also for India. So they are also liable for that. For example, like GDPR, if I am sitting anywhere, if I am processing any data which is residing into EU, so I am also liable for any breach of anything. So is it visible?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So what it says? It says personal information must be fairly and lawfully processed. मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि आपने कहीं से कार इकट्ठे किए. For example, I lost my car folder. Just example, and okay, I got the data. Now it's not a fairly mean to collect the data. And if you do any process on that data, so end user may take the action against him or her. So earlier there was no law. लोग मजे लेते थे, भेज दिया आपने, unsubscribe किया, फिर अगेन दोबारा आपको मिल जाता है. हुआ है ऐसा? सबके साथ हुआ होगा. ठीक है? The personal information must be processed for limited purposes. पहले क्या होता था? आपने sign up कर दिया, now आप उसके बंदा को बन गए. So he has to do whatever he wants to do with your data. Maybe he can sell it to someone else. Maybe if you subscribe for my sales services, I am also sending you the details about my e-commerce portal. I have launched my cars, whatever that, you can use that data for that things. Information regarding data processing must be notified to data principal. See, अगर किसी टीम से मैं आपका डाटा कलेक्ट करूँ, फॉर एग्जाम्पल जैसे हमने अमेजन को बताया कि आप यू पुट योर क्रेडिट कार्ड once and they auto save that. So now Amazon has to clarify that why he has saved this data or your credit card details into that, and he cannot use that information maximum when you use that. See, such notification must be easily comprehensible in multiple languages where necessary. Okay, so India is a multilingual country, so people's nobody is understand English very clearly. You go to south, you go to east, अपना नॉर्थ में काफी सारे स्टेट्स हैं आपके इंग्लिश first language or they cannot understand English. So now it is mandatory on the same day user can change his or her preferred language. Translation. Absolutely. ये नहीं कि आपने इंग्लिश में कुछ लिखा और वो भी ऐसा लिखा कि इंग्लिश जिसको इंग्लिश आती है उसको भी समझ में आए. So it should be na easy and simple language, clear cut है. अगर हिंदी में भी लिखा है तो किंकर कर्ता में विमूढ़ लिख दिया तो आधे लोग तो समझ नहीं पाएंगे इसका मतलब क्या होता है. See, then personal information must be adequate, relevant, and not misleading. So sometimes what happens, people manipulate with your data. Just for my knowledge, just for my personal benefit. For example, I need a credit card holders data. See, there are two kinds of credit card holders. One is premium clients, another is normal clients who have monthly expenses of close to 10 to 15,000, like me. And there is a guy who is spending 1 lakh rupees, more than 1 lakh rupees, like free in my view. So I cannot manipulate कि yes, I need to that data. Okay, एक काम करते हैं, ओम कुमार को डाल दो 1 लाख वाली कैटेगरी. No, I cannot do that. See, personal information must be accurate and accurate. Okay, so what it says, personal, accurate and accurate. What can be done? That if I am collecting your data, if I am processing your data, I need to come back to you again and again. Sir, ये कुछ आपकी information है. Are they right? Are they changed? Please make it done. Not right answer. Personal information data must not be kept longer than is necessary. For example, you can say किसी को earlier I'm forgetting the name, Snapdeal. You know Snapdeal? Snapdeal was earlier selling the discount coupon. They are not into that now what they are. So they have collected some data on that time frame. So now understand this thing. I have collected your data for 1 day. Now I become the e-commerce portal. I cannot use that data at any point. I have to take the re-consent from the users to use that data. Personal information data can be transferred to other countries only when authorized by the state. Okay. For operations is here. HO in Dubai. I need to send this data to HO. So now there is a regulations. There is a medium which has to be notified before transferring that data from outside the country. If not done, if you found guilty, I will show you how much you have to pay. Personal data processing should be in compliance with the bill. Okay. There is a proper process is defined how you can process the data, even starting from collecting the data and using of that data.
It complies with the bills means.
Bill has been passed. Now, if bill is passed, then there is a law.
Guidelines obviously.
Once the bill is passed, उसके बाद law बनता है. Okay. Lawful processing. So these are the lawful processing. Consent free, having regard to whether it meets the standard under Section 14 of the Indian Contract Act 1872. Informed having regard to whether the data principal is notified of other data that is being made of for this now. उसके बाद मैं इसको पूरा elaborate करता हूँ. Specific having regard to whether the data principal can be determine the scope of consent in respect of the purposes of processing. Clear having regard to whether it is indicating through an affirmative action that is meaningful in a given context. Okay. So what is the consent? Consent is I have to clarify you before taking your data, before processing that data, why, how, and when. So these things are very, very mandatory now. So any organization, any company, for example, sir, let's take your organization. You make these PAN cards.
We have more than 12 crore data.
So, see, any now
used for
so they are actually processing personal information.
Yes.
My date of birth is my personal information,
Yes.
and it's
not actual data.
It's a confidential. Maybe possible I don't want to disclose my age, my date of birth. I'm married or single. Maybe I don't want to disclose to the market.
And nowadays this data birth is specially used for the resetting the password.
Absolutely.
Have to single password, stolen mobile, all those stuff. They use
Many
date of birth, 2-3 questions only.
See, many companies are taking your spouse data. So that is only for the, for example, financial sector में दिया जाता है because if not as a normally, if something is happened, so normally will be informed that these things are lying for you or for your family. You see, so ऐसा नहीं है कि if I shared my spouse name, so you got the data. And you can start sending information which is not related to her. And you know my children now, so you share the information to them. It is consentful because that is mandatory for some extent. For example, insurance. Insurance में आपको फैमिली डालते हैं. So it doesn't mean कि insurance company वाले आपको उठाते हैं कहते हैं भैया एक काम करो monthly SIP कराना शुरू कर दो. No, they cannot.
2 weeks back, I have got a call from an education portal that your first kid is studying in this school and this. From where you are getting data?
Allow me, sir. एक example देता हूँ. हमसे ज़्यादा technical use कर रहे हैं. आपने फेसबुक पे डाला आई एम एंजॉयिंग कश्मीर और पीछे कश्मीर साफ हो गया साफ रातों रात। तो अपना तो पर्सनल इंफॉर्मेशन सोशल मीडिया पे डाल रहा हूँ मैं, हवा में बात करूँ ट्रू स्टोरी है। वहाँ अपने बढ़िया बढ़िया फोटो डाल रहे हैं अपने कुंबे को जलाने के लिए और वहाँ अपना घर साफ हो गया। तो ये पर्सनल इंफॉर्मेशन जो है you have to be very very careful. Right.
So express consent again same my information which I don't want to disclose with the audience or social, so in my social life. So those consent should be there. And actual reason why you are collecting that. Same I told you, you are doing a health insurance. Health insurance is actually done for the whole family. It doesn't mean you use that data, and you have to give me the confirmation that all these information related to my wife, my children, my family should not be disturbed, and how and why this data is being used by the organization. See? So this is consent and non-consent. Okay. Lawful processing, ground for processing of general data. So the bill allows processing of data by fiduciary if consent is provided, which we have discussed what is consent. However, in certain circumstances, processing of data may be permitted without consent of the individual. You government ने निकाला है कि if government firm your business has some, for example, your business has some abnormality in terms of transactions and everything. So government has a right to put a spy on you, so that if any big things come up, like you have seen this guy Malia and transactions, so those things can be controlled, and the guys who are doing the terrorist activities like that, yes, and Hawala and all those things can be tracked down. So there, then, for example, I found Minister of Company Affairs found some abnormality in your business. So it doesn't mean the NC will directly access your data and everything. No. Now they have to send this data, this information to dignitaries which is involved in those particular things. So now according to that, those things have been signed, and then your data will be processed. It may be your financial data, your GPS, everything. Even your cause can be passed. It is required under law for the compliance of any court judgment. For example, there is a one that is absconding because he knows that he is going to be charged by the court, Indian Court of Law. So now for track down, they can do anything. Maybe they use the wife's details as well, because everyone is trying to contact their family first if he's absconding. Yes, I'm okay, I'm safe, I'm this, I need money or something like that. So that can be done. You can challenge it in the Court of India. To respond to a medical emergency. For example, many times we have seen people lost their life in road accidents or some environmental calamity or something like that. So now the people can use your Aadhaar data. See, there is a dead body, so they will take a thumb impression, eye impression, whatever is that, and they can understand who are that person. So according to that, he can reach to his family or their family and give the information. So these are included into this bill. For reasonable purposes specified by the authority related to activities such as fraud detection, tax recovery and whistleblowing, which we have already discussed. Okay. Ground for processing of sensitive personal data. See, personal data comes everything. Sensitive personal data which you don't want to share with everyone. So try to understand the difference between them. So which express consent by data principle and allows for processing data in following ground without any consent in cases. For example, which require express consent of the principal as explained under section 12 of the bill. Okay, what it says, for example, I have given my personal information to someone else, right? But I have given the consent for using my email ID and my mobile number only, not my family's number, nothing like that. But what happened? If something is happened to me and that organization or that company wants to inform my family that there is something, for example, आपने देखा होगा LIC के पास आज तकरीबन 150 करोड़ रुपया ऐसा है जो कि क्लेम ही नहीं हुआ है. You know that? No. So now what LIC is doing, because of that old data, they're trying to connect with the family members of the policies which is older than some time frame. So earlier, see, I have given my data, my email ID and mobile number for one-to-one discussion or something like that. But I have not given the consent to use my family's number, my family name and address, everything, my parental house, everything. So now they can access that. Necessary for any function of parliament or state legislature is required by the state of providing benefits to the individual. For example, sir was discussing about the MSP, something like that. So if government is waiving any loan, वो लोन कैसे वेव ऑफ करेंगे? दो तरीके हैं या, लेकिन वो हर किसी के लिए नहीं होता. ऐसा नहीं कि हम लोग लोन वेव ऑफ कर रहे हैं, उसकी लिस्ट बनती है. सी, अब लिस्ट तो बन गई है, लेकिन वो लिस्ट तक पहुंचे कैसे जाए? नाउ योर पर्सनल इंफॉर्मेशन गवर्नमेंट कैन यूज, और सम मेडिकल बेनिफिट्स or some educational benefits. So government can use the personal as well as sensitive personal data in any. Again, court, if court wants any data, so no one can refuse that, because court has to do something with that personal individual or something like that. So prompt action during medical emergency. See, we have covered this. Now, personal data and sensitive data, sensitive personal data of children. Okay. So that we have already discussed that what people has started. For example, sir, you आपके बच्चे के एडमिशन के लिए आ गया कि भैया आपका बच्चा 3 साल का हो गया, 2 साल हो गया, उसको स्कूल में डालेंगे. See, they cannot use these kind of data and these kind of information. That kind of that data mining cannot be used now. So they have to take the consent first. अगर मैं अपने बेटे के लिए या बच्चे के लिए फॉर्म भरा हूँ एजुकेशन के अंदर, स्कूल के अंदर, कॉलेज के अंदर, और उसमें मैं अपनी फैमिली का डिटेल भेजता हूँ, तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि मैं नहीं, आप देखिए इंटर रिलेशनशिप बताता हूँ. मैं अपने बच्चे की उम्र बताई, भैया मेरा दूसरा बच्चा 10वीं में, 12वीं पास तक का पता चल जाता है, 2 साल के अंदर बंदा पास कर लेगा. वो इमीडिएटली 3rd ईयर पे जब उसका फर्स्ट ईयर स्टार्ट होता है, उसको मैसेज आने शुरू होता है. इंस्टीट्यूट से कॉल आ रहा है, सर आपका बच्चे ने 12th पास किया, congratulations for that. Now देखो, now this is my school or this is my college or something like that, please we are giving certificate. They cannot use that.
और हमारा सीए इंस्टीट्यूट भी सच होता है, बच्चे ने रजिस्टर किया, उसमें इंस्टीट्यूट से फोन आने शुरू हो जाते हैं कि हमारे इंस्टीट्यूट से सीए का कोचिंग लो. हालांकि नेगेटिव चीज है, बट यू फैक्ट ऑफ लाइफ है, आई टू शेयर. पता नहीं कहां से डाटा कहां पहुंच जाता है, पर्पस उसका कुछ होता है, कहां ना कहां यूज होता है.
एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल देते हैं हम लोग अपने बच्चों का पासपोर्ट बनाते हैं. अगर कुछ इंफॉर्मेशन है रिलेटेड टू पासपोर्ट ऑफिस को, ठीक है, वो कि मेरे घर पे टीसीएस तरह है और उसको कुछ इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं है, सो इट डजंट मीन कि मेरे बच्चे का पासपोर्ट हो, मेरे बच्चे को फोन करना या उसको अप्रोच करना शुरू कर देते हैं. हैव टू अप्रोच टू मी और माय वाइफ. They shall be barred from profiling, tracking, behavior monitoring for targeted advertising. See what I just accepted. Guardian data initially are providing counseling for child protection services to children. So आप बच्चे का डाटा, सेम चीज मैंने आपको बोला कि आपने पासपोर्ट बनाया है बच्चे का, अब गवर्नमेंट इंडिया कुछ एजुकेशन के लिए लेके आ रही है, तो they can use that data and send you the information. बस आपका बच्चा अब फर्स्ट में आने लग गया है, हम क्या कर रहे हैं, हम हर बच्चा जो कि गवर्नमेंट स्कूल में एडमिशन लेगा उसको 1000 रुपए का 1000 रुपए देंगे साल का. So that can be done. You cannot challenge that. How you can use my sensitive data. Okay, data principal rights, right to confirmation and access for every data that is being processed. Now, every data processor has to take written confirmation for the users how and why and for what purpose they are processing in this data. Right to correction. Principal may request to fiduciary for any correction, completion or upgradation to data, which we have informed. For example, every year, every 2-3 years, we change our mobile number. Sometimes we also change our email ID. So you must have seen, PFSA sector, or they send you the information. Please update your date of birth, your email ID, your mobile number, and alternate mobile number. Okay. Right to data portability. Receive the personal data in structure commonly used in machine readable format, which such data principle has provided to the data fiduciary. So, see, data portability, for example, sometimes you have seen this thing, the merger of idea. So they have two different data processing officers. See, so जो idea का डाटा था वो ऐसा नहीं कि जो भी दूसरा पार्टनर है वो यूज कर सकता है, वोडाफोन यूज करता है या वोडाफोन का डाटा आइडिया वाला भी यूज कर सकता है, because there are few services which is being divided into both these parties. तो ऐसा नहीं कि हम दोनों एक हो गए तो भाई एक काम करो, तुम मेरी सर्विस के लिए ये डाटा यूज कर लो, तुम्हारी सर्विस के लिए मैं तुम्हारा डाटा यूज कर लेता हूँ. So data portability should be very clear up to some extension and has to be again on the consent, which has been generated in the course of provision of services of use of goods by the data fiduciary, or which forms part of a profile of data principal, or which the data fiduciary has otherwise obtained. Exception: processing is necessary for function of the state. Processing is in compliance of law. Such compliance would reveal to trade secret of any data fiduciary or would not be technically visible. Okay. So यहाँ पे what law is saying for some action, for something it's an exception for processing and necessary for function of the state. If any data which can help to any state can be shared to the state. State is government actually, right? Processing is in compliance of law. If there is thing which is against the law and some organizations asking for that particular data for that thing, so you cannot deny to process that particular data. Then right to be forgotten. The data principal may restrict to or prevent continuing disclosure of personal data in cases where the applicability of determined by data adjudicating officer. Restriction of disclosure of personal data overrides the right to freedom of speech and expression and right to information for any citizen. Okay. So any data which can challenge, you can say which can challenge, or you can say pointing the finger of any privacy of any. Okay, sorry. Okay. Pointing the finger to right of आज के टाइम पे लोग फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच के इसमें कुछ भी बोल जाते हैं, किसी की पर्सनल इंफॉर्मेशन बाहर कर देते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल, आई एम हैविंग अ डिनर विद Pankaj. So what media is doing? Okay, this guy was now this comes under this act. You're gonna do that until unless you have the pre-approved things from me and Pankaj.
ये tehelka.com और ये सब साइट क्या होगा, बंद हो जाएंगे?
They have to take the permission. See.
Permission
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं. If you are doing things, for example, Malia and a Minister of Finance, just example, please not be serious for a moment. Actually वो मिले. अब तहलका वाला वो मिले तो चाय पी लेते, लेकिन वो तहलका वाला को यूज करता, वो के मालिया इंडिया से बाहर जाना चाहता था, इसलिए वो मिला उससे. So this is actually wrong activity. So now before publishing that, ठीक है, और maybe he has published that. If now I have a right, and now there is a I have my own rights, and I also take the money out of that. Why you have published the wrong thing? How can you have to prove that yes, me and that guy was met for what purpose? Where applicable, any rating in the form of data trust score that may be according to the data fiduciary under section 35, where applicable information regarding cross-border transfer of personal data, that the data fiduciary data speed, you cannot send the data to outside that country. Security safeguard to be taken by data principal as well as data principal. What are the data safeguards? Now the company who is processing the data now has to take the safeguard for the keeping the data safe and preserved so that no one. आज के टाइम पे क्या होता है? You have a data in server, you access that CRM application. आज के टाइम पे कोई उठा देता है, वहाँ से डाटा निकाल देता है कि हमने क्या किया, क्या किया, उसके बेस पे वो sales exercise चल गया. No, you cannot do that. Now the data has to be in encrypted format, has a limited access of rights, and the rights should be terminated after using that data. See, you cannot. ऐसा नहीं कि मैंने आपको राइट देके ना आपका जिंदगी भर के लिए वो हो गया कि आप कुछ भी यूज करो. No, you cannot even keep a second copy of that data in your proper personal use. Okay, personal data breach. The data breach shall not notify the. Okay, see, like GDPR. Now, if any breaches happen, for example, I'm a sales guy. I took the data. See, and that data is include each and everything of any individual. So that data has been stolen by me as a sales guy. So now company has to take the legal action and has their responsibility to give the information to the particular to the department that the data has been stolen by this. Now that department can take the or company will take the legal action after advising by those governing bodies. The notification of data principal shall be sent only on the direction given by DPA. See, DPA is a data processing authority. Anything notification which is being sent by the sent to the DPA to what has to be done with these things. So it should be very clear and day-to-day basis, or monthly basis or quarterly basis. These things have to be done. This shift the burden of deciding the materiality of basis from the data fiduciary to DPA. Data protection impact assessment. Data protection assessment, impact assessment. A data protection impact assessment has to be undertaken if the data fiduciary intend to undertake any processing technology or large-scale profiling for use sensitive data or other processing which carries the risk of significant harm of data principle. Okay. Now the thing is that if you are doing something which is maybe sometimes what happens, you have only few pointers are available for the particular user data. Now you want to do the profiling, complete profiling. So you have to be very careful before profiling the data that it should not get harm. For example, कई बार क्या होता है, हम लोग जब डाटा प्रोफाइल करते हैं, बहुत लोग मिस्टेक भी करते हैं. For example, I have asked Dushyant to profile the data of the members. So sometimes what happens, in terms of his name is Sunil Pandey, maybe his name is SUNEEL, but mentally क्या किया उसने SUNEL करके आगे कर दिया. So that has to be carefully. It should not harm, because if maybe there would be another Sunil Pandey, and I need to send some information, instead of receiving that information to him, he will then receive that information. So that has to be very careful. Record keeping and audits. Accurate, up-to-date records of important operations in the data life cycle have to be maintained by the data fiduciary. Data fiduciary has to conduct an annual audit and policies and policy processing of data by an independent data vendor. Okay. Now the thing is that you have a repository of the data. Now every year, now it is mandatory. See, our individual or you can say neutral auditor will come down and understand your system where you have put up the data and understand the process by which you are using the data. If he found any, you can say, gap into that, so you have to fulfill that gap as soon as possible, and you have to inform these things to DPA as well. If we found these breaches in our own system. See, system can be updated or degraded by the use of the business and security of that particular data, but it has to be informed to the DPA. So the DPA can also inform why, because if anything has happened, so department can understand what action has to be taken, who will misuse that particular data. So now अभी तक क्या था, हम हो जाता था, उसके बाद करते थे, यहाँ पे पहले से ही precautions चल रही है कि yes, okay, these things are happening, this is the industry, who can misuse the data, okay, we know, we understand who is the culprit and how to stop using that particular data. Significant data fiduciary, the TP shall notify certain data fiduciary to significant fiduciary based on the volume of the sensitivity of the personal data process. They are subject to enhanced obligations such as impact assignment, registration, audit and appointment of data protection officer. Foreign data fiduciary name transfer personal data outside India. Okay, this is mandatory, which is the organization which is working across the globe. And they are processing data of Indian individuals. See, critical personal, for example, a lot of these healthcare organizations, they are based out of US, UK. So they are processing Indian data. What they do, they do a JV with the Indian company, and they start processing the data of Indian. So now there is a clear indications and bylaws how you can use that. Critical personal data is categorized as a DPA can be stored only on Indian servers. See, मेरी application कहीं पे मेरा office कहाँ पे है? For example, that WhatsApp हम लोग use करते हैं. It is going to be stopped by the Indian government because they were not using. Firstly, they were not using any Indian servers. Secondly, they are not giving any access to Indian authorities. Agencies, so that they can bar into the data if any, for example, you must have heard that there are a lot of terrorist WhatsApp group was active earlier. See, so that they can communicate and do the things and plan the things.
Most likely, lots of data centers would come in next 5-6 months.
Absolutely. So next big thing is the data center. The cross-border transfer personal data, except sensitive personal data, may be transferred outside under certain conditions. These include where the central government has prescribed transfer to a particular country are permissible. So there will be countries which has been blocked for transferring any data. Or if they are open, so there would be some terms and conditions. On those terms and conditions, you can transfer that data to that country. Secondly, where the authorities approve the transfer in a situation of necessity. See, for example, I am traveling to any country, outside the country. Something has happened to me. Yeah. See, and they want to identify actually it's me. Okay? So how can do that? So they will send my Aadhaar data to government of that particular country, and they identify me. Yes, he is the same guy, and that can so that my family can be informed. This guy has met with an accident, so he is in hospital. Come and meet me. So exemption, bill approved exemption from the compliance relates to supervisors for certain reasons, including state security, prevention, investigation, safety. We have discussed anything which is for example, you must have seen a lot of people have seen the spy movies. So raw agents are across the globe. So if they particular need any data, so that can be easily available to them. Personal, domestic, and journalistic purpose. Regulatory authorities. Okay, now you can understand the actual duties of DPA. जो कि GDPR में DPA है. So why can the duties of DPA such as identifying additional categories of expedient grounds for processing personal data, mandating breach, notification to data principal, prescribing. Okay, so DPA in a simple word, DPA is the authority which is designing and defining the pointers on how the data can be collected, how it can be processed. If any breaches happen, this to be immediately reported to the authorities. And if authority has given any notice to the organization, so that has to be followed. For example, if data breaches happen, so and the authority says, okay, file the complaint to the local cyber cell. So these things on particular time frame. So that has to be mandatory. ये नहीं कि उसमें बोला और लोग लेके बैठ जाते हैं अपने हिसाब से करते हैं. Now if you do not do that, then penalty will be huge. Power of the calling for information, conducting inquiries, issuing codes of practice. For example, if I am an EPA and some he is a guy who is managing the CRM data. See, CRM data is full of all your personal information. So I can understand, I can see, I can inquire anything how you will get the access of this data and what is the time frame for accessing for these data and how you are using that and what is the way of transportation of this data. It's open or it's in an SSL encryption or what? Issuing direction of data previously to data processor.
The application logs are being used for auditing purposes.
Absolutely. So that is to be done by the authority. Yeah. So these directions may be range from restriction operation of property, cross-border data flow. The DP is also confer search and seizure power and power of protection of property recover penalties. See, now DPA has given a broader power on broader level, but under some circumstances. For example, I'm a sales guy. I took some liberty and steal out the data before leaving the organization. Now DPA, the particular department had given the report that this guy has stolen the personal information data from the CRM. So now DPA has a power from with the local authorities. I can take the legal action against them and also put up the financial penalties on that particular individual. Civil penalties, okay. Now this is, see, अभी तक हम लोग जो कर रहे थे कुछ नहीं था, कोई सुनवाई नहीं थी, कोई कुछ नहीं थी. अब यहाँ पे every individual has a right. What are the rights? Civil penalties. For violations of provision under transparency, monetary penalty shall be 5 to 15 crore. शायद ये किसी कंपनी का पूरा साल का टर्नओवर होता है या पूरी वैल्यू है उसका.
Small companies.
So please think twice. You are misusing anybody's personal information. Or 2 to 4% of there may be a lot of organizations which want to MNCs carrying. So their turnover may be very high. So their global turnover is 2 to 4%. See, if I am a company having 100 crore turnover, so 2% or 4% of global turnover, it's a huge.
Criminal
penalties. So imprisonment ranging from 3 to 5 years. Above that, is prescribed for person who knowingly, intentionally, see what we have discussed, any sales user or something, data is this. क्योंकि अभी सबसे बड़ी चीज है कि you have to understand these penalties has to be there. So you have to be very careful when you employ any employee into your organization. You should understand what is the value of this data, what he is processing.
It's a regular training process.
Absolutely. And liability comes again on organization and the second सबसे बड़ी liability IT भी आती है. At the end of the day, data processing कौन मैनेज करता है? सिस्टम कौन मैनेज करता है? IT मैनेज.
भले मार्केटिंग वाला डाटा उड़ा के ले.
Absolutely. Yes to be correct. ऐसा नहीं कि आप IT वाले को आपको करोगा. एक तो आपने कंपनी तो उसी मैंडेट उसी से यार IT तो हमने आपको सौंप रखा था.
हमने एनक्रिप्शन कर दिया, डेटा का सब कुछ कर दिया, एक्सेस नहीं है. मार्केटिंग वाला का मेरे को ना एक रिपोर्ट दे दो कस्टमर की इस प्रोजेक्ट.
आपको वेरी
एक्सेल में ब्रोकर को पहुंच गई.
चोरी करके कोई और जाएगा, लेकिन क्लैरिफिकेशन आपसे ही दिया जाएगा.
हमारी कंपनी का तो रेगुलरली ऐसा हो रहा है. क्लाइंट का क्वेरी मेरे पास आता है और अकाउंट ओपनिंग
भाई साहब ब्रोकर मेरे पास आया, साहब आपकी ये सेवा कर दो, मुझे डेटा दे दो. मैंने कहा खबरदार आज के बाद मेरे सामने आएगा और 1 घंटे बाद डेटा बाहर. मार्केटिंग वाले रिपोर्ट मांगी थी.
कंपनसेशन. अभी किसी मैं बैंक का नाम लूंगा, बैंक फ्रॉड हुआ था, डाटा लीक हुआ, उसमें से फ्रॉड हुआ, लोगों के पैसे चोरी हो गए. Now that particular individual whose money got stolen has a right to take the compensation from that particular organization. पहले ऐसा कुछ नहीं था, पहले ये था कि मिल गए ठीक है, नहीं मिले तो चाहिए ना, बड़ी दूर में जाता है। यूपीआई बैंक स्कैम किसको पता है? बहुत कम लोगों को।
और रीजन केस है अभी, बहुत बड़ा नाम है एसबीआई, बहुत बड़ा नाम है एसबीआई, छोटा नाम नहीं है। इनका इतना केयरलेस सिस्टम काम कर रहा है कि बहुत सारे लोगों के सर्वे अकाउंट ओपन हो गए। मैं अपने इशू बता रहा हूँ, ऑलमोस्ट 1000 लोगों का सर्वे अकाउंट ओपन किया गया, सर्वे ट्रांसफर हुआ, डेबिट कार्ड किसी और के साथ मैप हो गया, कुछ किसी के साथ मैप हो गया, ऑटोमेटिकली 10,000 15,000 20,000 रुपए निकलने शुरू हो गए। कार्ड देखने हैं पॉकेट के अंदर पैसे जा रहा है फोन पे कि 10,000 निकल गया आपका।
सर चोर ज्यादा टेक्नोलॉजी यूज कर रहे हैं, समझा रहा हूं।
फ्रेश अकाउंट पे बेसिकली दिस इज अ फ्रेश अकाउंट,
बीटा कैंसिल पढ़ के कर रहे हैं काम, वो हमारे शुरू में।
So observations from this bill are sought extensive changes in the mechanism of existing data protection regime in India, जो कि आज के टाइम काफी टाइम से बुलाया, ये कहा जा रहा था कि लोग कहते हैं यार हमारा डाटा यूज हो जाता है, कोई लॉ नहीं है, मतलब कोई राइट्स नहीं है, कुछ भी कोई भी जिसका मन करता है होता है। So now they use it. Personal data has been treated as a trust, as not a property. See what we have discussed, पहले क्या था, आपका आपने डाटा भेजा, आप मेरे बंदा को मैं जो चाहे आपके डाटा के साथ कर सकता हूँ, जो चाहे इन्फॉर्मेशन चाहे आपकी जरूरत की हो ना हो, आई कैन सेंड इट टू यू फ्री
कॉलर के अगेंस्ट में एक्शन ले सकता है। हां, कॉल कर रहा है उसके अगेंस्ट में एक्शन ले सकते हैं कि आपको कहां से मिला है।
यू राइट डाउन द नंबर, once it become a law, you write down the number, file a police complaint, एक्शन।
मैं हेमकुंड में सर्विस कराता हूँ, हंस मुंडे से फोन आ रहा है, सर आपकी सर्विस जो मैंने भी तेरे पे खास डिटेल नहीं तो सर होता है हमारे पास। तो अभी ये स्ट्रिंजेंट होना जरूरी है, बहुत जरूरी है। हेमकुंड वाले मुझे मैंने मेरी डिटेल कहां से लेके उसके पास और मोबाइल नंबर तक चला गया।
एक्चुअल डेटा प्राइवेसी दिस इज कॉल्ड, ये होता है उसका एक्शन होगा और
सीआरएम मेंटेन
इसलिए ग्रुपिंग का उसको मिसलीड किया गया है,
ऑल ऑफ देम
उसको रॉन्ग आर्टिकल
भी है। मेरे पास मुर्गा से फोन आते हैं।
चलिए पास
So I'm finishing this because it's lunch time and many people are
So it's very interesting.
I have a request. If you got any query, my number is 9818607068. My email ID is home.kumar. Few other new features that I am. Kumar@bk.in.
You are available on LinkedIn also.
Sorry, थोड़ा fast करना पड़ेगा because time is very short and I'm so thankful that all Saturday you gave your precious time to us. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Onji.
Thank you, sir.
It was really enlightening session. Onji, sir. And in fact, I was and in fact, I was discussing that we have a full training course on data warehousing, data mining, and I was requesting whenever he comes back from Bangalore, he can take at least 1 unit of full credit course for our students as well. So this was really an insight.
Very.
And of course, this was
fantastic,
which was
very
helpful for us.
Very knowledgeable. All appreciation to Mr. Om.
Now we have certificates of this session because TekQ Global, when they were planning this, they thought that we should also be giving certificate of participation for this workshop. So I'm requesting Arindam Sharma ji and TekQ Global. I request Parveen Sharma ji to Shri Sunil, Shri Dushyant Sharma ji.
Please. It's all of us, to be honest with you.
Shri Manoj Gupta ji.
आपको तो मैं दूंगा।
Thank you.
हर सक्सेसफुल इवेंट के पीछे किसी वुमन का हाथ होता है। She is the woman. Dushyant Kumar.
Miss Seema More.
Something.
Santosh Kumar.
Santosh? Come. Arindam is one of you.
Shri Vipul Agrawal. Shri Vipul Agrawal.
विपुल जी हैं? आइए विपुल जी आइए Thank you विपुल जी, thank you so much.
Shri Surendra.
सुरेंद्र जी आइए सुरेंद्र जी आइए. Thank you सुरेंद्र जी.
Shri Sunil Kr Pandey.
अभी वो बाहर हैं.
Shri Sunil Kr Pandey.
दोबारा अभी बाहर अभी थोड़ा सा चलो
शाश्वत
ऑक्सीजन के लिए गए.
Shri Rakesh Nair.
राकेश जी आइए राकेश.
Shri Rajesh Srivastava.
चलो आप पीछे नहीं इधर ही आते पीछे तो नहीं अरे that every governing body member have the privilege to
Shri Pawan Kumar.
आइए पवन भाई.
Shri Mukesh Kumar.
मुकेश भाई आइए.
Thank you very much. Shri Lakshman Singh.
आइए लक्ष्मण भाई.
Shri Kish Kashyap.
कश्यप जी आइए भाई साहब. ओम भाई आप आइए. आप दीजिए सर्टिफिकेट दीजिए. पूजा आप आइए.
Shri Jagdev Sharma.
जगदेव भाई. ओम कुमार के हाथ से दीजिए. बुलाइए अरे आइए आइए प्लीज सर एक आवर आप दो ज्यादा अरे प्लीज एक आवर और
अभी तो मैं नाम नहीं लग रहा. Miss Seller.
आप सुनील भाई आप दीजिए.
Shri Sunil Kr Pandey.
आइए सुनील भाई. हाँ दिल्ली की बात.
Shri Sunil Gudani. शाश्वत जी को ही देना है.
भैया वही तो पार्टिसिपेंट है. ओके.
मनोज गुप्ता जी. Finally, Shri Arindam.
Sarkara. I'm really honored to be here.
And with this, I would request Arindam ji to propose a thanks.
Yes, please.
I hope nobody left in this.
Anybody left by any chance? Please बता दीजिएगा कोई.
Everybody has got it.
Now these are 6 volunteers.
Shahswat, you are the general manager, right? फोटो में आई थी। नाम भाई वाले ना Mayan, thank you, Mayan. Thank you for your support. Thank you, Rohit. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lokesh bhai. Thank you so much for your kind support. Another round of applause, please. Good afternoon all. It's my pleasure that you have been asked for this, to propose a vote of thanks for this first TekQ Byte series. And on behalf of our TekQ CIO Global Forum and our entire team, as well as you can say this is IT technology fraternity CIS. And on behalf of them, and I am very hearty vote of thanks to both our knowledge partners, Mr. Byte and Mr. Mohan Nagar, for raising your important work and sharing with us your knowledge and very deep insight the business analytics and the government data protection, I think, Indian version, the insights which you have shared with us. We are all inspired by this knowledge session. Yes.
And we are looking forward for many such sessions. And finally, I would like to take this opportunity to place our honored record or hearty and thanks to
Yes, of course. I.T.S team. Thank you so much.
So thanks for him and VC sir.
Yes.
He
raised the occasion.
Yeah. I also extend my thanks to him also. And Dr. Sunil Kr Pandey for their enormous cooperation in this organizing this.
Big round of applause.
And Mr. President also. Ladies and gentlemen, once again I want to take my thanks and most gratefully to both our knowledge partner that you have given us so much insight in this particular
very current topics, I would say.
Yeah.
Very realistic and current topics.
And we thank you on behalf of all of us.
Thank you so much.
This is a small token of remembrance to President TekQ Global CIO I request Professor Pooja Chaitrath Ms to present token of governance to say good education, the resource person of this. Thank you. And the request for Saraswita Consulti to present a couple of events to next resource person. I am Mike. आप प्रेसिडेंट और दोनों लोग दो सर्टिफिकेट दीजिए और कैटेगरी तो नहीं है
बहुत आप लोग को Thank you so much for the
and to Mr. Saurabh Kawar, who is part of our I.T.S.
You have got all the appreciation. He is the person behind the live telecast, and many appreciation we are receiving in our forum. Very good. Thank you so much, everyone. Let's proceed to lunch, right? Thank you.
Sir. Our chairman, sir, in fact, he edits books also. So this is a small book of
सेवन सीरीज तो मेरे पास है, 7 तक तो ये 9 अच्छा ये 9 नॉलेज बोर्ड्स नहीं अभी अब बाइट के सर एसोसिएट हुए हैं और उसी हिसाब से हमने कहा है कि TekQ would like to have a permanent association so that they can benefit, they can benefit from our community and we get benefit from that. बहुत बढ़िया अरेंजमेंट किया है I.T.S टीम
It's an off for them. It's an off day for them.
They have made a successful event. So we proceed for lunch.